The Thermaltake Genesis Ultimate V5 is your ticket to playing the hottest PC games right now. This gaming PC has been handcrafted for pure performance, giving players the power of a GeForce RTX 5060 graphics card, 16GB of DDR4 RAM, and an AMD Ryzen 5600 CPU. All powered by Thermaltake's very own Smart BX3 650-watt power supply. A ready-to-go gamer's dream built inside our popular Versa H16 case. Go the extra mile and plan your upgrades on the Thermaltake LCGS website. Your first victory is just a button press away.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thermaltake OOR Sprint Series. We are live from the mountain that it is moister than an oyster, and I am Sean Muller bringing you all the action this evening, and joining me is the one and only Aidan Squires. Top of the evening, sir.
Good evening, Sean, and to everyone in chat watching along at home. Yep, tonight the rains have come out for Split Yellow. Looking like a proper wet track, not so much of the medium to light rain, but more of the heavy stuff we've seen as we start into the first few minutes of qualifying here. It's going to be really interesting to see if these drivers can obviously tackle one of the hardest tracks in the world in the dry, and see how they go in the wet tonight.
Yeah, definitely couldn't agree more. We all know it, we all love it. 6.2 kilometres just outside of Orange there in New South Wales at the lovely town called Bathurst, home of the Bathurst 12 Hour and the Bathurst 1000. We don't really need to describe the track. We all know it, we all love it. Well, most of us love it. Some of us have a bit of a hate relationship with it. As we are looking at that beautiful Penrite Ferrari as it heads up under the tree now. And this is going to be a very interesting qualifying session as well, because qualifying is going to be super important here. Really hard to pass across the top of the mountain. And it is a 60-minute race tonight. No compulsory stops. So it is go to woe, as we are looking at Johnny Stockton here in that Ferrari as he fires across the top now over Brocky Skyline, down through the S's. Does he do the three brake technique? Yes, he does. Now through the dipper, two wheels off the deck. Now heads off towards the stupidest corner on the track, Forest Elbow.
Yep, real Delta thief, that one, if you get it wrong. But yeah, I think that Penrite livery is possibly inspired by the real-life Supercars livery, which does look pretty good as he now opens up that Ferrari down Conrod Straight. Pretty scary to chase in some cars once you get down there. Quite a few people I've seen going completely sideways through the corner. I'm not sure if the Ferrari is gonna do that, so we're about to see. Can he keep it straight? Looks pretty planted, hits the brakes nicely around the 150 board, gets it turned in. All nice, pretty square lap so far from John Stockton, as I think he's the first one out on track, so he'll be the first to cut the beam and set the benchmark for everyone else.
Certainly will be, and I've just got a quick special guest who wants to say hello.
Hello, I am Jack.
That's my little co-commentator with me, so looking forward to him watching all the action as well as Johnny Stockton crosses the line there into third position. But it is JC leading the way with a 2:14.4 in the Big Bad Pixel Racer Ford. He's going to have a ripping time this evening, I feel. He loves these conditions and he loves that Mustang.
Yeah, Mustang quite tricky to drive in these sort of conditions, obviously, as it's powerful rear-wheel drive. Quite slippery from a few of the people driving I've seen so far. So yeah, he's going to have his hands full as Luke Johnson crosses the line to take that pole off Jamie. But the thing is with these sort of wet tracks, especially in quali, is the track in theory should become faster towards the end of the session. So these first sort of laps are just kind of feeling it out, getting a feel for the conditions. But the last sort of 2 to 3 laps are the absolutely vital ones as the water starts to get moved out of the racing line from the cars, and obviously the less water there is, the faster you can go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's the theory. As we are looking here at Chris Taylor in the Honda, and there is a lot of talk that which car is going to be into the wall first, the Honda or the Audi. There are, that Vediger, that's not, can't park there, buddy, as he goes across the top of the mountain. Now, currently in 4th position, but is 0.4 up on his best lap, so this is going to be a very quick lap here from Chris Taylor. Fellow Essendon software he is. We have good chats about the bottom. Well, I wouldn't say good chats, but we have chats as he now heads down towards the elbow. Really tricky corner, this one. As you can see, you've got to break it so straight. Just a little bit of taily, and it'll spin around quicker than you can say, where'd that go?
100%, and made obviously much harder in the wet as it's a tricky sort of downhill corner, so very easy to lock the fronts and completely ruin it. And obviously what follows that corner is the longest straight on the track, and also one of the longest straights in racing. So you lose so much time if you mess it up, as Chris Taylor's going to point the car, brake on the 150, there we go, or washes out wide a bit, car struggling to slow down. That's going to take a lot of his time off this lap. He'll be a bit annoyed with that, but he's got about 2 to 3 more laps left to try and get a better time down. He is going to improve on this lap, but not quite as much as he'd hoped, as Luke Johnson gets a massive slide driving past the Porsche, who I think just came off the track from an off. So maybe a few people getting a bit caught out if they hadn't done much wet practice for this race, as Alex Pasca-Armstrong jumps up to the top momentarily and is beaten by Luke Johnson again, who crosses the line to take that pole. So we cut to some pretty sideways action here from that Mercedes in front of Ben Vintner, who, if that Mercedes is on a valid lap, I think Ben's going to be kind of stuck here because he can't actually overtake him, providing the Merc is on a valid lap, as he pulls out of the slipstream and has to back out. Yeah, so he's going to have to back out of this lap, get a bit more of a gap to that Merc, starting the next lap, as we cut to Brian Kong as well. So obviously the track improving quite a lot now, as we see Comboy's time obviously that he set on that first lap is over 1 second off what we're currently sitting at.
Definitely, it's all about the right time and choosing your moment. So quick little housekeeping while we are watching Brian Kong here is our championship leader, actually. Brad Cook is not racing this evening. So there are points to be made from Lele Johnson and Comboy. So really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. They'll definitely have that in the back of their mind as Kong now heads down towards Murray's under the Liquid Moly Bridge. Beautiful through Murray's. That was a lovely line. Lost a little bit there on the exit. Moves him up to second. 0.3 off Lukey Johnson, who is leading away with a 2:13.3 in that Castrol McLaren. As we're back now with Chrissy Taylor on the Smokestack NSX. Geez, don't see that too many times. Bloody hell.
Yeah, a bit of a tongue twister, that one, as obviously Chris Taylor lost a bit of his time here at the main part of the chase. So if you can pull it up a little bit earlier, just take a sort of better line through this corner, be a bit more patient on the throttle. Still gets the tail out, but obviously that delta just shoots up from the last lap. So he's now up 8 tenths. He is still needing a bit more time to grab pole in this lap, which I don't think he's going to be able to do, but you really want to time your lap perfectly, so when you cross the line, there's as little time left for that last lap on the driest possible track. So that's another thing that I kind of mentioned, but the timing of that is also very important, as Luke Johnson again improves by a significant amount over everyone else. That McLaren working pretty well for him, as Ben Vintner now behind a blue flagged Porsche, who's having very treacherous conditions out there. So Ben Vintner up 1.7 seconds, massive improvement for him. I'm going to guess that his previous laps haven't really been what he's wanted, so he's going to head over the hill down Conrad Straight into this very high speed right-hander, quite a scary corner. As mentioned, you can get pretty sideways there if you're not careful. He brakes into the chase on the 150 board, straightens it up, gets a little bit of a slide, but that's not too bad in the wet, and gets a nice drive off the corner, now up almost 1.8 seconds. There's a bit of a car park in front of him. Hopefully that doesn't affect his next few laps, but yeah, very good lap. Ben Vintner so far.
As Benny Vintner across the line and goes up to second position, if you don't mind, umpire. Lovely lap from Vintner in the Motel Aston as we jump on board with JC. Is this JC things? That is terrible. You can see absolutely nothing. Oh, yep, JC things. Yep, holds on to it. Of course he does. All that experience driving the GTR just showing that, as Lukey Johnson just slides it out of the dipper, if you don't mind, down into the elbow. Looks like he's lost quite a bit of time there. Gets a good exit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It might improve his time, but it might not. It's going to be a bit of a close watch as we're back now with JC, who is 0.4 up as he heads up through the cutting, up towards the tree. The Mustang at Bathurst. He can't get more iconic than that. As he goes up, slides it beautifully. That was on the slide. Now plunges down to the dirty grey. Rides it across Reed Park and Silman Park. Now towards the best corner in motorsport, McPhillamy. Lovely across the top. Does he kiss the curb? He does. How deep does he go down through the S's? Just carrying a lot of speed, JCE's here. This is turning into a good lap.
Yeah, definitely putting it together quite well on this one. Obviously the Mustang, a difficult car to handle in these sort of conditions, and the Delta is creeping up. So he's going to have to make about 1.6 seconds off his current time to snatch the pole, and this will be his last lap as the clock ticks to 0. So the people heading up through Hell Corner right now are the last people that will get to do a lap, so they have the best possible track in theory. As we look at Ben Vintner, and yeah, Convoy's just in front of him. So Vintner up, definitely in position to take pole here with almost 4/10. Big slide. That'll affect him, but not too much. This will still be pole as long as Convoy can't improve that 1.7 seconds from his previous laps, which we'll just have to wait and see if he does. So Ben Vintner about to cross the line as Luke Johnson sneaks. So yeah, JC 4/10 off. Yeah, Ben Vintner takes the provisional pole, but we still have Josh Vediger coming around the final corner and the Honda on the lap, and a few other cars who potentially could steal this away.
Certainly, what a clutch lap there from Benny Vintner. Excellent lap, but we're looking here now at Chrissy Taylor as he comes down through the elbow, and now he'll unleash one of the NSX's party tricks, the straight line speed. Even though I believe it's been nerfed a little bit, so it's not as quick as it used to be back in the day. Now he's only 0.4 up on his best time. Just do some quick maths. That'll get probably around that 4th, 5th position. Now down into the... slides it through the chase, if you don't mind. Breaks it nice and straight, clips the apex through the chicane, loses a little bit of time there on exit. Again, it's just sliding the back end of the NSX. Now he's just got miles to go, breaks it nice and straight. Can Christy Taylor move it up the leaderboard? This is turning into a very good lap. He's half a second up. This should put him close to the top 4. Great lap, Taylor.
Yeah, so Luke Johnson was actually on a lap, but I noticed he went back to pits on the top of the mountain, so might have had a little accident or just wasn't gaining enough. I thought maybe, seeing as he was in P2, he might have enough to challenge Ben Vintner, but here's Brian Kong. I'm not sure. I think he's valid, but unfortunately that slide has taken away most of the time he's made up, so I don't think he's going to gain anything on this lap. And I think Lele was also out there, unless he's crossed the line just then. So a couple people there out on that final lap but couldn't quite capitalise. So to finish the session, we got Ben Vintner, followed by Luke Johnson, Jamie Conboy, Chris Taylor, Joshua Vediger, Brian Kong, Sean Lele, Dylan McDowell, Pascal Armstrong, and Gareth Ralpy closing out the top 10.
Certainly. So we are now going to run down the grid and have a look at these fantastic liveries. Of course, a big thank you does go to our fantastic sponsor, Thermaltake. If you are looking for some PC gear or a fan to keep your PC cool, or maybe some sim racing gear or a nice case, go check out Thermaltake, their website. They've got some fantastic products there as well. And of course, there is, I believe, a 5% discount as well if you are an OLR member. So jump at our Discord, have a look. It's under the Thermaltake banner in our Discord. So click on the link, that'll take you to the website. But once again, massive thank you to Thermaltake and the proud sponsor of the OLR Sprint Series. As we're looking at the one of the Vedigers there in the Coke Zero Mustang, bit of a fan of that. Reminds me of Moffat's Mustang from way back in the day.
Yeah, I got Brian Kong in that Ferrari on the left, followed by Lele in that Cheetos McLaren on the right. So looking at strategy, I think from what I can see, it's going to stay raining for a while. So all these drivers are going to be staying on wets. The track is, I think it's actually flooded according to the game. So
Yeah,
that
nice.
is pretty big, if that's true, because that is proper wet. Yeah, flooded track. So Pascal or Dylan McDowell on the left there in the 213, and Pascal Armstrong in that 20 Porsche on the right, followed by Gareth Raupe in that number 12 Mustang. So yeah, definitely going to be tough for these drivers in flooded conditions. I'm not sure how many of you have had the absolute pleasure of driving in this, but it feels like you're sailing the Titanic, to put it lightly. Yeah, it feels like you're driving the Titanic after it sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Anyway, there's Ryan Anderson on the right and Steve Lewis on the left, followed by John Charitos on the right. Benjamin Piper in that 26 GTR with those very interesting colours, I will say. Wesley Yao in the 992 Porsche on the right, followed by John Stockton in that lovely Penrite livery. We've got Apreciado in the Valvoline Mustang, I think that is.
One of my favourites, Apreciado. Oh, hang on. Was one of my favourites, but look behind it. KFC Mustang. Chicken finger licking good. Thank you. Everyone just got hungry now.
Yeah, definitely. That's Thomas Furstuck, I believe. We got Marshy on the left there in that KA BMW, and the Porsche of Jack Miller, who's a little bit further down the grid than he's previously been. Maybe didn't have enough time for wet practice tonight. Lee Perkins on the left, Neil Wood on the right. The board unfortunately does run out here, but I definitely recognise that Coke Mustang. And there is an Audi on the right. Is that... Oh no, it's not Saxon. I don't think Saxon's racing this. And obviously the Red Bull Mustang from Paul Cranich. Yep.
Classic Cranich there.
Yeah, it is a bit cursed, but I guess we'll see it in real life next year. So I guess will it stay cursed then? Will it be cursed after next year? I guess not.
So as they head out now on their warm-up lap, well, I wouldn't really call it a warm-up lap, more like a sighting lap.
Cool down lap, basically.
Yeah. Because this is GT3 racing. We go racing in these conditions. Unlike F1, they'll have a 5-hour break because they're, let's be honest, a bunch of pussies. As we are rolling along now. I was about to sort of ask you, Hayden, any predictions of that, but with these conditions, it really is a bit of a crapshoot, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. I mean, the top 10 could all slide off the track at turn 1, and, you know, that is entirely possible. But from what I've seen so far, my bet is probably going to go towards Luke Johnson. He's looked pretty strong so far. Unfortunately, my bet is not going to go to the Honda because I'm not quite so enthusiastic about the survival rate of the Honda in flooded conditions at Bathurst. So, sorry, Chris Taylor, but yeah, my prediction's not going to you. What about you, Muller?
I actually like JC here. I think JC in that Mustang, as we know, it's really quick down Conrad. I think he loves these conditions as well. He's really comfortable sliding the car. I think JC's a red-hot chance this evening. And first car on the wall, it's got to be the Audi.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The other thing quickly, though, is the Mustang has got its restrictor, so maybe it won't make too much of a difference in the wet because everyone's going a little bit slower just due to the nature of, obviously, traction or lack thereof in the wet. But we'll see if he can still make his way past the cars in front of him because, obviously, traditionally, the Mustang is an absolute rocket here in the Tri, but obviously the wet is a completely different beast. So track temperatures are 23, 24, still on that flooded track, no wind, so that is not going to dry out anytime soon. No sign of the sun. It is just rain. I mean, you could have showed me this and said we were in England and I would believe you.
Yeah, 100%. It's very much blighty weather as they do line up double fire now as Benny Ventnor will control the field. We've got a pretty stacked grid here this evening, so it is Vintner, Johnson, Conboy, Taylor, Vediger, Kong, Lele, McDowell, Parker Armstrong and Rapul are your 10 with Anderson and Stevie Lewis just outside. But we are about to go racing for split yellow. on the Thermaltake, you idiot, in the Thermaltake Sprint Series. Bathurst doesn't get any better. It is absolutely pissing down. It is going to be a ripper, and we are about to go long hold racing, and they are very slowly off the line as everyone struggles to get traction. Heading down into Hal Corner now, and it looks like Vintner's got that clean start that he wanted. JC tucks into third there. Johnson right behind Vintner. Looks like everyone gets through Hal Corner nice and cleanly. Well done, Split Yellow. Have we cursed it too early there? I hope not. As a head up Mountain Straight now. Oh, is there a better sight in motorsport? Oh, I highly doubt it. As the lights take full effect down in the Griffin's Bend now. As they all tippy-toe their way around, very cautious early on.
Oh, Kong's gone.
Kong's gone.
Kong's gone. I don't think he has blocked the track, though. He's kind of slipped off to the side. Yeah, going to make his way backwards. Try not to get disqualified, because the game will do that if you drive too far backwards. But anyway, we have sort of made it through. Only one casualty so far, but as we head up now into the really tight part of the mountain, this is where there is potential for proper carnage. So we're looking at the top four here who've kind of broken away already from that main group behind them. That's a big gap already to the Porsche of Dylan McDowell. So obviously Vintner leading them away as we jump on board with Josh Vediger, get an idea of how bad that spray is. It's top five that have broken away. Ben Vinton has pulled a bit of a gap as we see the rest of the cars now snaking down the S's and Skyline as the GTR just has a little look there. I don't know if that was intentional or just struggling to slow the car down, because it is pretty difficult as we head into a lot of people's least favourite corner on this track, Forest Elbow. We see a variety of different sort of lines being used here, as that Porsche Pascal Armstrong is now right in the toe of Ishan Lele, but the Porsche does struggle a bit. I know you love the Porsche, Sean, but unfortunately it does struggle a little bit on the straights. So we'll see if Pascal Armstrong can do anything. I doubt he'll be able to, as they head down now through the kink into the chase. I don't think there's been any accidents apart from Kong going though so far, so I hope I haven't jinxed them, but yeah, that has been the only thing I've seen.
Yeah, certainly. It's been a very clean start from Split Yellow. Kong, the only one there spitting around, which up there, Griffin's Bend. But it is going to be Ventnor leading away 1.2 seconds to the good from Lukey Johnson. JC there in third. Chrissy Taylor in fourth. Vediger in fifth. They're our top five that have just started to break away from that pack, led by McDowell, Lele, Parker Armstrong. So we're definitely getting two distinct packs very early on. And as all the drivers now just settle into a rhythm, and now it's just about finding a flow and just getting into that rhythm, hitting your markers, and then you can start working on getting a bit of racing, because Chrissy Taylor here is looking very aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. Combo's just dropped a little bit off the back of Johnson here, which has let Chris Taylor and Josh Vediger close up to him a little bit as they head through the cutting now. Tricky uphill left-hander. Very easy to lose traction here, especially in the Mustang. It's probably the hardest corner on the track, in my opinion, for the Mustang, as we see Josh Vediger just sliding it through, just completely sideways in the background as he tries to chase down the Honda. As we get a replay of what happened to Brian Kong. Is this Dylan McDowell possibly? Unfortunately, we got blocked by the tree. Yeah, we got blocked by the tree there, but yeah, it did look like McDowell went for the move, and I couldn't really tell if there was space given or not, but ultimately it ended in Kong around the wrong way and having to wait for the whole grid to get past before he could get going again.
Certainly that will be looked at by a fantastic stewarding team. Big shout out to our awesome stewards. They do a tireless job. They are magnificent, as we are looking at Ishan Lele.
Big oversteer for him. That's gonna really kill his exit here. So maybe the Porsche has a chance now.
Here we
go.
He
pulls out. He's gonna have to duck back in. Doesn't quite have the top speed to challenge that McLaren yet, but he is gonna. Oh man, this is gonna be very interesting. He's
huge slide.
Yeah,
Lele, wow, right on the slide. That was hotter than a hot Cheeto. Great car control there from Lele. Caught the slide beautifully, but this is definitely going to give Pascal Armstrong a bit of a sniff now as they head down into Murray's. Just doesn't have the braking power to try that move. As we check ourselves a Thermaltake replay. Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, that come from nowhere.
So that's towards the back end of the grid. I'm not sure who's in that Merc, but yeah, just a McLaren just appeared right in front of that Mercedes at the worst possible time. I think it was on the exit of the dipper. So yeah, quite unfortunate for those guys. But the top 10 have pretty much held positions, I think, except for the obvious of Brian Kong, who was backwards. But yeah, this top sort of 10 has remained fairly the same as we get on board with Gareth Raupe now, behind that GTR of Ben Piper. Obviously, the GTR, quite a difficult car to drive. Doesn't really, that's very close to the wall on the right, doesn't really lend itself, you'd think, to wet condition driving, but I've seen a few GTRs go pretty quick around here in the wet, so maybe you can pull something out of that car, as Ben Piper will have to do to hold off this very competitive Ford sitting right behind him.
Certainly, the GTR definitely likes to be driven on the slide, so it is comfortable with a bit of yaw. Oh, as you can see right there, perfect timing from our magnificent camera work there. But Raupe looking very aggressive, chasing that, I don't even know what to call that colour scheme. We'll go with
Hulk.
Hulk, yeah, I get Hulk. Nickelodeon, it reminds me of Nickelodeon for some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Heading down now into the elbow. Oh, again, the GTR just skating on the exit. Don't look like it will hurt its terminal speed too much, so we know the GTR is an absolute rocket ship out of corners. So we are back now with Lele currently in 7th position, with Pascal Armstrong just behind again. Must be getting again, Lele just slides it through the kink. Really good car controls. Back here with Stevie Lewis, currently in 12th position.
Well, that is very brave from Steve Lewis, heading out onto that wet side of the track on the entry to the chase. As once you get off the racing line in these sort of conditions, there is not much at all in the way of grip. So very easy to lock the brakes or lose control. So I think that was John Charitos possibly trying to look for something behind him. As we can see, the gaps have actually increased quite a bit between all the cars. There's quite a few cars with 1 or 2 second gaps between each other, so it's proving quite hard to follow people, obviously, due to the immense amount of spray and just lack of visibility for all these drivers. As Lele's still got that Porsche for company. Alex Pascal Armstrong, if you don't know, he is a controller player, so hats off for him, and he does spend quite a lot of time on the Fruit Bowl server around here, so he definitely knows his way around. He's a pretty experienced driver and can definitely do a lot with his controller.
Well, that's even more impressive. The fact he's on a controller, that is, highly impressive. And as you can see there, and you can actually tell when someone's on a controller just by watching the steering inputs here, and you just see how it's jerking quite a bit, and that's just the little thumb movements that you do on a controller. So, really interesting. It takes a lot of skill. Of course, we've all started on a controller back when we all started sim racing, so to do it in these conditions in a car that's notoriously difficult to drive, hats off, very much so. And you never know, if it make it to the finals, he might win himself a wheel from Thermaltake. So there you go, there's extra incentive.
True, exactly. I think there's a Thermaltake direct drive wheel up for grabs towards the end of the season, so anyone wanting to upgrade, I strongly encourage you to take part, as there is a yellow flag. There's 2 yellow flags actually, one at Skyline and one at, I think that's Reed Park, maybe, I think. So a few incidents I've just caught what's happened in the other monitor, but yeah, I think we'll get a replay of that. But still very treacherous conditions as Pascal Armstrong now tries to get a run on Lele into the final corner. It's a very tricky spot to overtake, brakes very late, or washes out wide, gets on the grass. Yep, very easy to do, especially when you're trying to go for a move there. So I think possibly just maybe locked the brakes a little bit and went wide, which is going to lead to him possibly losing a position. As we see a GTR get on that real slippery, I don't know what to call it, but the real slippery outside part of the track. That the second you touch, just flicks your rear around and you just go straight into that barrier. So yeah, very easy to do. So Pascal Armstrong is now under threat from Raupi, who has got by Benjamin Piper. I don't think we caught that on the stream, but Raupi has made it past the GTR and is now making his way after that Porsche. Obviously, the Mustang pretty strong on the straight, so maybe he can just bide his time and wait until they get onto the straight and make a move done fairly safely then.
Yeah, definitely. So just do a bit of a recap of our 10 at the moment. I've just got a slight lull in the race, so it is Benny Vintner.
Or two yellow flags as you say that.
Yep. Nice.
Yep.
Good call. Looks like they've cleared pretty quickly though, so hopefully nothing too serious there. Here is our leader, Benny Vintner, 2 seconds to the good. Been really clean, just hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Lukey Johnson in second position, and then JC in third. Chrissy Taylor in fourth. Vediga, McDowell, Lele, Pascal Armstrong, Rapul, and Piper are your 10 at the moment. Steve Lewis and Anderson is just sitting outside. And you are watching the split yellow of the Thermaltake Online Sprint Series live from the mountain. It's currently 23 ambient, 24 on track, and it is absolutely, as I said, moister than an oyster.
Yep, definitely on the wet side tonight. I wonder if it's going to be the same for the other splits. I do kind of hope it is, because that'll be definitely a lot more fun than drive you around on the bone dry track. As much as we love Bathurst, a bit of rain does help to spice things up as we get a replay here on board a BMW. I think that's Steve Lewis, the 959 in front. Whoa, massive moment. Yep, just caught that outside of the track there, like exactly what happened with the GTR, I think. So yeah, very treacherous, that part of the track. So we go back to John Charitos having a big moment on the exit of the chase, but keeps it going. The BMW goes for a late move. I don't think he intended it. That is big contact on the apex, and I have a feeling the stewards aren't going to like that one too much. But yeah, BMW quite a difficult car to drive, particularly traction-wise, I think, in these sort of conditions, as we see him having quite a few wiggles on. But he sets out now after Ryan Anderson in the other BMW, just in front.
It's quite a spicy little battle pack, this one brewing here, which is always good to see. I love these mid-pack battles. You always get some really good hard-nosed racing. Stevie Lewis is going to have to get his defend on because Marshy's decided to send around the outside. That is not the line there, Mr. Marsh. That will put you into the wall very quickly, but keeps it out of the wall. Oh, Stevie Lewis has gone around at the cutting. And there's been a hit there. Marsh has gone into the back of him. Hopefully everyone gets around. Hold your brakes, Stevie. You know the drill. And he'll just be waiting for an opportunity to flick spin it. But this must feel like forever because there are a lot of cars that should be after this Ferrari there. Should be able to spin it around as we're looking back here at Dylan McDowell. Currently there now we're looking at Ryan Anderson. Oh, no, now we're looking at Chirinos who's gone around. So there we go. We normally see with these wet weather races, they start off pretty calm, but things start to go pear-shaped around 10 to 15 minutes in.
It's those white lines just on the edge of that track that just get you, and you just get turned on them straight away. So this is the dipper, I believe, we're looking at. Oh my gosh, the Audi's just Chaz Mostert it himself, I think. Oh, okay, so this is what we caught earlier on. Audi just trying to take a bit too tight of a line and pinging himself off.
What did I say?
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately you have been proven correct. Unfortunately. So Luke Johnson with the fastest lap there, as there has been, obviously, as we were saying, quite a few more incidents. I think Charitos we also saw around, and yeah, oh my gosh, there's two cars off. The Audi again, and Lele almost following the Audi off the track as well. So Audi not having fun, unfortunately, here. And no Saxon Hayes. Maybe this is why he skipped this race, potentially. He has seen the issues with the Audi and has decided, nope, I'm not going to do this race. But anyway, Pascal Armstrong still on the back of Lele here, just trying to find a way past, heading into Griffiths. I don't think he's going to be able to do it here either because he's a bit too far back. But yeah, maybe just waiting for Lele to make a mistake, as we've seen mistakes are fairly common here. As we get a replay of a mistake, I think Steve Lewis is going to... Oh wow, he's lost it on entry and it's just kept going, yeah. Very unfortunate.
Nearly held on
Steve Lewis. Yeah, nearly.
Ah, yes, the classic word in motorsport, nearly. I can actually give you an update on young Saxon Hayes. He is over in Japan, I believe, at the moment, so that's why he is missing this round. So, arigato to you, Saxon. Oh, there's watching another replay of that. Looked like the slowest slide in the world. It's one of those slides where it goes and you're just like, oh no.
Lele's oh my gosh, this just keeps on giving this race. So we've just cut to Lele through McPhillamy and he's got it wide. Very easy to do again, so I guess we'll catch a replay of that because Alex Pascal Armstrong will be seeing. Oh wow, okay. I'm spying what's happening in the other monitors. Yeah, now we get the replay. So Lele runs it a bit wide through Reed Park. This is, I believe, hits the wall, gets a massive slide on, kind of put out of position and just stays on the wide line, which has all that standing water, which obviously hasn't been cleared away. And once you're offline, like I said, or out near the edge of that track on those white lines, it is so easy to just either drift wide or go off. And as I say that, we got another 2 yellow flags on the mountain. So, yeah, there's definitely people who are potentially struggling out there tonight.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's a combination of factors. I think it's the rain, of course, but it's also that you do a couple of laps, you build up that confidence, you go, I'll just push that little bit harder, I'll just break that little bit deeper, and then next thing you know, as we know at Bathurst, it doesn't tickle. The mountain bites, and it bites very hard. It takes no prisoners. And a few drivers are just starting to find that out now the hard way. But not for our leader at the moment, who is currently 2.3 seconds of the good. Benny Vittner is looking a class above at the moment. But Lukey Johnson is very much keeping him honest. So these two, as we've got ourselves a replay, this is a GTR, so I know it's coming.
Oh no.
Oh
He's
no.
wide.
Oh, that's a big hit. Big hit.
That is a lot of rear damage on that GTR. I think he's probably returning to pits after that one, or if he's going to keep going, that's going to be a lot of damage because he properly smacked that wall. So yeah, a lot of people having trouble through that Reed McPhillamy Park area. As I've said, it's so easy to just go a little bit wide. As we see
McPhillamy. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
yep.
no!
Oh no! He's
Kong.
taking Kong with him. Although, did Kong save that? He was.
It looked like he might have actually.
He might have been able to save that, but yeah, very, very difficult to keep that car straight because there are parts of this track that are perfectly okay to run in the dry, but you just cannot touch them in the wet. So
here we go.
getting
On board with
Kong here. There goes the Mustang.
Nowhere to go. Around he goes. Oh, he has it, has he? He has it. Oh, hang on.
Don't
hang on. Oh, he kind of has. Oh, yes. Well done, Brian Kong. Well done.
Yep. I'll give that one a B+. That was pretty good considering the circumstances as we see that Mustang just slip it through the chase just on a nice angle. We should go on board with JC through the chase on one lap just to see how much handwork he's doing because I think it'll be quite a bit as we cut to him now. Let's see how much work he's doing on that steering wheel. Obviously JC, a GTR and Mustang enjoyer, an oversteer enjoyer I guess some would say. As we're getting a replay of what happened to the Aston here. Is this
elbow? Yeah,
just
easy
lost
to
the
do.
tree. So easy to do, and unfortunately now you're kind of stuck unless you can do a perfect flick sprint. It's very easy to Austin Powers yourself here. Is now JC coming up the hill into Griffiths Bend, the right-hander. He's about 1 second off Luke Johnson. I think that gap has been fairly stable throughout the race as we get an onboard here, so we'll get to see the wheel work done by the man himself. Very relaxed into the cutting, quite a
there we go.
line, but yeah, on the exit, Mustang not happy in first gear, obviously, or second, or really third around here. It's very, very slippery. As we run through Reed Park now. Oh no, this isn't Reed Park. Yeah, that's Silman Park. I think this is Reed Park.
Yep. There's Reed Park and then across McPhillamy. I just want to see him down through the S's because really interested to see how he gets the Mustang down here. Oh, just throws it over the lump if you don't mind. Yep, slides it through. Yep, and through the oh, wow, JC. How did you keep that off the wall? Holy moly. That's car control at the highest order. All right, can he get through the elbow? There we go. He'll get through the elbow, and then we'll have a change of underpants, please, with one JC.
That was very aggressive into the S's, or fully riding that curb, and then just keeping a bit of throttle on for the rotation. But I think he might have got a bit more rotation than what he'd bargained for. So I'm going to see him through the chase now, see if that Mustang does get any oversteer. Nah, he's keeping it very, very... What he's doing here is he's turning into the corner very early, so he has to use the least steering angle as possible, which allows him to get through without any significant understeer. However, when you're behind someone or close, or another situation is he's run a bit wide here, it is very easy to turn in a bit too aggressively, and then the rear starts coming around.
That's right. Brake bias is so important in the wet as well, especially in a car like we're looking at the screen at the moment of Alec Pascal Armstrong, who is currently in 7th on a controller. So this is a huge drive, and top Pro-Am as well, if you don't mind. So mega drive. Well, still a bit of a class rundown, actually. So it is Pascal Armstrong leading the way in Pro-Am, and he's got our silver class lead up just right behind him in the Mustang. And then it is Benjamin Piper in that whatever colour that GTR is in 2nd position in silver class, and then Ryan Anderson and Marshy in the top 3 in Pro-Am, and then Yo in the Porsche is our 3rd place silver class driver. So really nice inter-class battle as well going on. Of course, the pros leading the way, but this is normally where you get your best racing in RLRs, these sort of mid-pack battles, because they play for keeps down here.
I shouldn't spoil stuff, but I've seen something happen. Anyway, we'll see it in a second, I think. The Audi being blue flagged right now, I believe, due to there's quite a bit of damage on that car. Marshy obviously following in behind as the 819, the GTR is yellow flagged, and this is why. So he's on the X of the chase, quite a damaged car, just gasses it up a bit too much, and around he goes, unfortunately for the GTR of Darrell Lim. Paul Cranich as well, leading the AM charge in this server. I'm not sure how many AMs there are, but I've only seen one, and that's him, as Marshy gets a big slide through McPhilby. Bet he had a bit of a heart attack there, but he keeps it going straight. P12 for Marshy, this is pretty good for him so far. He's made up quite a lot of positions since the start, I believe, and he is following behind the fellow BMW of Ryan Anderson, and I see the 121 is yellow flagged. I think that is John Stockton going down the S's in the Ferrari. So, I mean, I don't want to say what I think has happened, but I think we all know the answer, unfortunately, as here we get a replay.
Ferrari, yeses. Everyone say, place your bets.
Oh, it's just gotten away from him. That wasn't even, he didn't even go aggressive into there. It just slowly rotated around on him, which is very unfortunate for John Stockton.
Well, normally the Ferrari loses it just over the hump. That's the Ferrari's weak point. It goes over that hump and it does something weird. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that was a weird kind of spin there for Stockton, but hopefully he can spin it around and keep on trucking on, as we've got still 36 minutes remaining. It does feel like this race is that is extremely deep from Brian Combe. Has he got that done? He has. Oh, that is a great bit of driving and great bit of heads up as well from Vettiger as well, just to open the wheel a little bit, leave enough room. Obviously saw Brian Kong was coming and thought, you know what, let's just discretion is the better part of valor here. But that was a very deep on the brakes. I'm so surprised he pulled that up.
Yeah, in the words of James Hunt, big balls was that one. So definitely the Mustang got a bit of a slide, and Kong just thought, oh, you know what? I mean, he was millimeters from getting on the grass with his left-hand wheels, which is quite catastrophic if that happens at full speed going into the chase. But he managed to keep his nose clean and get the pass done fairly easily. Obviously, he has to make up a few spots since he had that unfortunate incident at the start. And now we go onto the rear bumper of Alex Pascal Armstrong, with Raupi right behind in that blue and silver Mustang. The Mustang not catching too much, getting a bit of a twitch going into Forest Elbow, as that Porsche is just so planted through those sections and can just get the power down so easy. the Mustang going to struggle to really do anything here, but it will have the benefit of a tow possibly, and might be able to start closing up over the next few laps if he can keep it nice and straight.
Yeah, well, you're just going back to your point there before the start of the broadcast, saying that the rain's going to bring the Mustang back to the pack, and I feel like we are seeing that. I literally thought, the Mustangs would sort of not walk away, but be quite strong. But the rain certainly leveled the playing field, and what it's done. It's really turned into an interesting race, because that gap between Johnson and Vintner, it is only eking out. Oh, wow. That was, Jesus, that was a slide. That was very well caught there. Marshy's an old go-karter boy. He'll be right. He knows what he's doing. I don't want to spoil things, but we've got something coming up that is pretty hard to watch.
Yep, so this is for a Stokes KFC Mustang, and he has let us know in the chat that his wheel disconnected and unfortunately put him straight in the wall. So unfortunately for him, I don't think he's in the race anymore for obvious reasons. But yeah, very unlucky. And we see Marcia right on the back of Ryan Anderson. He's going to move to the inside of Griffiths Bend. This is a very difficult place to go too wide in the dry, let alone in the wet, as Marshy stays up on the inside. It's going to be side by side. Ryan Anderson gives him a lot of room, maybe a bit too much room, as now he's going to be under threat from Wesley just behind. Wesley thinks a bit better of it, especially coming into here. He doesn't want to Ambrose Murphy them, so he decides to stay out of it for now. But unfortunately, Ryan Anderson has dropped the position to David Marsh, who is doing really well at the moment.
This has been one of the best drives I've seen from Marshy. He's on today. Yeah, it's good to see one of my favourite blokes to call races with. Real passion for motorsport he has. He's under a bit of pressure though, because Ryan Anderson is not letting this go. Oh, wow. Marshy, hold on to it, son.
He's trying to give us a heart attack.
Look at this though. Anderson is really putting the pressure on, and Wesley in the background just sitting there going, come on boys, get into it, and I'll pick up the scraps. Down into the elbow, and again Anderson shows the nose, does the old Craig Lowndes trick.
He's going to try to get a good exit here, yep. As he comes out of Forest Elbow, takes that bit of a wider entry so we can cut back, take the late apex and get a good drive out. So it is BMW on BMW here, so he's going to have a little bit more trouble passing, as I believe the BMW is one of the fastest cars on the straight in the game now that the Ford has kind of lost its mantle, as Marshy breaks very deep here. He's going to pull it up, and so does Ryan Anderson. Ryan just struggling a little bit in this complete lack of visibility. Obviously, to be fair, it's very hard to see where you're going when you're right behind someone. But yeah, Marshy got that pass done nice into Griffiths Bend, and now possibly going to try set out after Benjamin Piper, who is quite a long way ahead.
Well, I was thinking that, but the gap's it's a long way ahead, but the way Marshy's driving, he's on. I don't know, something's fired him up. He's jumped in the car, he saw the rain at Bathurst, and he's like, yep, this is my kind of cup of tea, and off he goes. As Anderson now has really got to get the elbows out, as we're back now with Chrissy Taylor up in the top four. Back here with Anderson, because he's got Wesley up on the inside, the 992. You are not outbraking a 992 on the outside, Ryan. I am sorry. And the Porsche goes, thank you very much. And it will skip off into the distance now. So Anderson just dropped a couple of swipes.
Oh, he's dropped it on the
curb. Oh, yes. Well done. Commentator's curse there. Sorry, Wesley. And dear, oh dear.
Yep, as I said, those white lines on the very outside, past them, it is just a no-go zone. He got his he's got his right rear just over that white line, and boom, the car just goes right around. So yeah, just watch that right rear.
Yeah, being a Porsche driver as well, I can tell you the point where you absolutely go, uh-oh, right now. Because once Porsche does that, you're not catching it. It's impossible 100%. To catch. Oh, we didn't see that.
Is that Miller? I think that's Jack Miller. Adding to the despair, I think. So a bit more damage picked up from Jack Miller there, as Chris Taylor's now starting to get under threat from Joshua Vettiger in that Mustang. Obviously the Mustang is going to pull a bit of a pull up a bit to that Honda, as the Honda is quite sad on the straights, but it is fairly good over the top. I think when we had the OOR Enduro, it was actually the fastest car over the top of the mountain. Granted, that was in the dry. But yeah, so the Honda can pull some pace out, but whether it can do that in the wet is another question. As we do have, I think that's the 959 again.
Yep.
Just after the exit of the chase, so I think that's unfortunate for that McLaren again. He's ended up backwards. Yeah, we see Josh Bettiger just trying to follow this Honda through. Very difficult section of track to be close behind someone as, big slides. Yeah.
Here we go. Here's the 959. And sliding, still sliding. And bang.
I don't think the damage from hitting the wall a few times is helping that car, especially on the rear. We all know how sensitive rear damage is in this game.
JC. Oh, JC. Wow, that was a lively moment. This looks like a bit of lap traffic there in front of him, so he's just trying to get... Oh, that was a little...
121's also around at the same spot. So Stockton's also dropped it at the same spot, and yeah, as the same spot as Steve Lewis there. So another victim has been claimed on the exit of the chase, and I think that might have cost Convoy some time, being stuck behind the blue flag. Obviously there's not much space to overtake, as here we see Stockton, pushing it. It's so easy to do, man. In my practice I've done that loads of times as well. Just push it a little bit too hard on the exit, jump up on that curb, and the second you touch that grass with your left wheels, you just get turned around instantly. So the wet track claiming yet more victims, as Chris Taylor a little bit wide again into the final corner. Maybe that's just the line you take in the Honda, because it's a few times we've seen that happen. Is now we watch Wesley Yao behind, I'm gonna guess this is a blue flag car, because, well, I don't see a McLaren in front of him on the timing table unless something has happened to him. So we'll have to see once he passes the split marker to see if the person in front of him has jumped him or something. No? Oh yes, okay. It's the McLaren of Ryan
King.
Yeah, King. I think it's Ryan King. I'm not sure though. Has got past him. I'm not sure where, but they head into the chase now. Wesley kind of struggling with the oversteer in that Porsche. And obviously Miller just in front of these guys as Miller comes into the pit. So I'm going to guess he had damage he needs to repair. That is the only thing I can possibly think of from that collision with the spun Porsche of
It could be that. I mean, the Porsche is... Yeah, once Porsche gets damage on the front, it pretty much becomes undrivable. So... Oh, Pascal Armstrong, if you don't mind, just sliding it under the drive.
Oh, that's a bit more than sliding.
Yep. That's not... Oh, it is in the wall again. It's accumulating.
I think, again, a bit wide on those Reid Park, Silman Park exits. You get sucked out wide and you just start becoming a pinball on all the walls that are very close. So this can allow Raupi to close that gap a bit. Maybe not enough to get in an overtaking position, but definitely enough to start closing the gap right now as he heads through Forest Elbow. The Porsche pulling out a bit more of a gap before they get onto Conrod Straight though, so Raupi not really able to do anything at the moment. But Pascal Armstrong will have gotten a bit of damage from that, so he wants to be careful that he's not pushing the car too hard now and doesn't lose it, because it is a Porsche and it is a little bit temperamental as he takes that line on the grass just on that little bit of run-up to give himself a bit more space for the turn-in into the chase, as you want to minimize the amount of steering angle you have to use, because obviously the more steering, the more likely there is going to be a huge slide.
Yeah, it's all about really smooth inputs, braking, throttle application, steering. Just got to, basically, as Mark Webber used to say, drive it with your fingertips in the wet. Just got to dance the car. And the Porsche, as Alex is learning, dancing very well, but unfortunately has still stood on a couple of toes, and that is a very second-hand look at Porsche. That would not be fun to drive, and I can tell you now, Ralphie be like, oh, yes, got ourselves some leftovers. As we just going to have a quick look across some of the gaps there and just have a look, see if we've got any fights there on track. Looks like everything has opened up just a little bit. So it is Benny Vittner leading away, 2.9 seconds to the good from Lukey Johnson. Jamie Conboy there in third position. Chrissy Taylor, who we're looking at in the Smokestack NSX on screen now. And he's got Vediga, who is just starting to chop away at that gap. So maybe the NSX is just starting to be a little bit temperamental. And just starting to play a few little... it didn't not look nice over the top there. As I head down into the S's and through the dipper now. And then it is McDowell in 6. Nice job there from Dylan McDowell. Just quietly trucked his way up to 6th position. Very nice drive. And we haven't seen him on stream as well. So, as the old adage is, if you're not on stream, it means you're having a good day out. Then Pascal Armstrong and we've got ourselves a replay here. This, I believe, is Jack Miller. Yep, so Jackie Miller, the bike rider. Oh, he's trying to go around the outside of McPhillippi on the grass. That's not the
letting him past. I'm not sure.
That's strange.
Yeah, so King was trying to let him past, I think, judging by how slow he was going off the corner and also how slow he was going on the entry to the S's. But obviously the message got a little bit lost in translation and Miller tried to sneak around the outside, which obviously then became the inside and then became the wall because there wasn't enough room. But Vediga now just inching closer. He's about 2/10 closer as Darryl Lim again is stuck in a really awkward position. He's going to have to wait for this next group of cars to get by before he tries to flick spin that GTR, which he's going to do now. Okay, that didn't quite work. He has to get that sorted out before the next sort of big group of cars come along, which is in about 30 seconds time. Hopefully he does have enough time and doesn't Austin Powers himself just in time for the leaders to get by. But Vediga just closing that gap a little bit. He's gained about 2/10 since the last lap in total. So the gap is slowly coming down as the GTR is now moving again. And as the GTR gets moving, someone else loses it at Forest Elbow. And there's a yellow flag there.
And Vediga, we're just watching there, slid it big time, then lost quite a bit of ground there. But I've been noticing that Chris Taylor takes a very narrow line in the NSX. Really does not want to use, stays right away from the ripple strips as much as he can. And very much narrow, doesn't go near the white lines hardly at all. He is driving that NSX so straight. Probably because it's on a knife edge, and if you step over it, it will throw you in the fence. But as you can see with Vediga, no, he has absolutely zero abandon for that. He is sliding it everywhere, backing it in the corners, motocross style. He is driving the absolute wheels off that Coke Zero Mustang, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, from my experience in the Ford, it's not really the braking or like sort of general stability that is the workplace you get oversteer. It's the power on exit. It's quite hard to lose the rear and let it come round under braking, but when you're putting down power, obviously it's a lot more temperamental than some of the other cars. As he's getting a bit of a slide on through the chase as usual. As we cut to Lele, this is heading down the S's. Yep. Okay, so it doesn't turn in, and he just goes straight on.
Oh. Now, fun fact, 30 years ago, that would have been a retired car, because there used to be a big sand trap right there. As back with this great battle between Taylor and Vediga. Probably our best battle on the track at the moment. And Vediga's shown as well, commentated quite a lot of his races, and he's shown towards the back end of a race, he comes on. It's sort of, he finds something, just a little bit. He's very good at just nursing the car, and now he just starts to unleash the party trick as we are on board with our leader at the moment, heading up.
That's a lot of traffic.
That is a bucket load of traffic.
Lele's in the pits. I've just noticed.
Yep.
Lele is in the pits for some reason, so we'll have to see if we can find out a reason for that, because that is very odd, as there is no... Oh, okay, that is one way to blue flag and get out of the way. Just drive straight off the track. I know Bathurst is a pretty hard place to be a blue flag, because there's not much room to overtake, but yeah. Oh wow, that is a bad exit from the Mercedes. Ben Vintner almost just giving that Merc a love tap, as there's another yellow flag now. So Lele's gone back to pits for some unknown reason, as there is no pit stop, and I highly doubt he is switching tyre to dry. So that is very strange.
Why not?
And then the McLaren just kind of driving off the track at McPhilliby Park.
Why not put dryers on? May as well have a crack. You never know. I mean, it's ACC. Who knows what could happen? I mean, this is the game that gave us 35 PSI, wet temps, and all sorts of weird, crazy stuff. So
Here's a
replay here. This is Kong,
Yao, and King.
Oh, wow. We've got the double boop. So Kong went into the back of Yao, then went into the back of King. So that will be coming with an invoice, I have no doubt. I do know the stewards don't take too kindly to that. They don't have much of a sense of humour with rear-end contact. He's back with Josh Vediger at the moment, who's, as I was saying, just starting to come on strong. But as you're saying, Chris Taylor's really strong across the top of the mountain. That NSX is mighty up there. But, of course, these big, long straights is where the Mustang can eke a little bit of ground, but it is very stagnant at the moment.
Yeah, the grid kind of separating a bit as we head into the last sort of 20 minutes of this race. As we look at Dylan McDowell kind of chilling here in 6th place. He's just driven his own race so far, apart from that contact with Kong on the first lap. That has really been it for Dylan McDowell, and I would expect if he was to receive a penalty, it would have come already. So I don't think that was penalty worthy, clearly, from the stewards. So he's just going to keep driving and hold his 6th place, hopefully, as we get Chris Taylor now, who has pulled a gap on that Ford again. And I don't remember Jamie Conboy being this close to that that Honda. So maybe some blue flag traffic getting in the way of that Honda, and now that Merc is going to be in front of the Honda for the rest of this section, which is possibly going to allow Vediger to catch back up to the back of that Honda again.
Certainly will, and that is the worst spot to get blue flag traffic. Wow, that is not the place to let off. Normally
this has hurt the Honda. Yep.
Normally the rule at Bathurst is basically from the cutting to the elbow. You do not have to yield to blue flag. So that was interesting. Lucky not everyone come out unscathed. But what this has done is given Vediger a big sniff as I head down now into the kink. This is 260 kilometres. Oh, they're side by side through the quickest corner in Australia.
Honda's off.
And Chris Taylor's gone around as he came.
Is he going to collect him?
Oh, that was so close. Vediger.
God.
Oh, that's giving me echoes of Frosty Whittenbottom back in 2007. That was so close.
Yeah, Honda just got on that grass and off he went. I would like to see the onboard from his point of view to see that from the Mustang's point of view to see that Honda fly back across the track in front of him. But yeah, very unfortunate for the Honda. Incredibly difficult to get two cars side by side through there in the dry, let alone the wet. So I believe we're about to get a replay now. Here is the Honda. Can't see the Ford yet, but he's definitely there. Just drives it a little bit wide and gets it on the grass, and there he goes. As Brian Kong gets that 15-second penalty for the rear end collision.
I reckon Vediger saw that coming and just backed out right about. Actually, I'm seeing it now. Yeah, 100% Vediger, I reckon, has just backed out of it. Because he saw what was going to happen. But let's find out, because we're definitely going to get ourselves a cheeky little replay on this one, I reckon.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah. I believe we're about to see a white and black Honda fly. Yep. Just given. I wonder if he was giving him the finger as he went past for that. But Yeah, anyway, Convoy now inherits a bit more of a gap after all those shenanigans we just saw. It's up to 3.5 seconds and 5.5 seconds to Luke Johnson in front. So these sort of top four looking pretty solid as Dylan McDowell is a bit further away at 14 seconds behind these guys. And I think that's a bit too much time for him to grab in the last 15 minutes, bar obviously incidents or crashes, as we've seen that is pretty easy to do on this track due to the weather and other factors. Obviously, as we look at JC head through the chase, keeps it nice and straight. So JC, I think, being quite conservative through that right-hander and making sure he doesn't get oversteer. As I believe we're about to get a replay. Yep, here it is, of Alex Pascal Armstrong in that Porsche. Been running so well up to now, but just outbrakes himself and goes straight on into the barrier, and that is going to allow Raupi to just drive around him, which must be pretty frustrating for Alex, because he's held that Mustang off just through driving nice and cleanly for so long, and to lose it like that is quite disheartening.
He's had a day, young Alex. He's had a day. He's been involved in a few things, so you'll definitely remember his race here, as we are looking at the one and only Jamie Convoy, currently in third position in the Pixel Racer Mustang, as he passes Paul Cranich there, and doing a nice, Paul Cranich also just doing a cheeky nice job, 21st position, as we've got ourselves another replay. Charitos into the wall.
Hold those brakes. Okay, he's kept it out of harm's way after that crash, but yeah, again, that curb, if you want to hit that curb, particularly if it's raining, your wheel has to be dead straight, otherwise bad things will happen. As I think that's the 396 Ferrari yellowed as well in the S's, which is Isaac Price-Davies, so possibly another Ferrari moment happening at Skyline, as he now backs it up and tries to get it going again before the leaders arrive on scene. Here they are coming through. Make sure okay, yep, he's let them by nice and safely, so well done to Isaac. But I think possible Ferrari things were the culprit there.
Yeah, most likely, as we are looking at our second position driver of Luke. Oh wow! Oh, what's happened there? Oh, someone has collected.
Oh my gosh!
Everything. Free advertising gone.
Veselovsky just wiped out all those boards there, as we see. Price-Davies through the dipper just loses it. Quite a weird.
That looks strange. I've never seen a spin like that before.
And the 23, or no, someone is also around at Forest Elbow. There's a car slow there as well. But yeah, that Aston just deciding he doesn't like the sponsors and he just wants to take them all out.
And we've got ourselves a replay coming up of the incident. It's it's a story. I'll give you that. It's a story. But we are looking back here at the Rockets Evolved entry of Lukey Johnson, one of the nicest presented cars on the grid in those famous Castrol colours, as we've got ourselves a replay here. Oh, there we go. So that's one wall. That's
Chaz mossed it.
Yep, done a Chaz.
Mossed it. Yeah, that's exactly what he's done there. And I think that's bent his steering. And he's tried to drive it down the straight, and it is not cooperating.
It's about to get even worse, because it looks okay, everything's fine on the grass. Oh no, and that is that. Oh, so
the signs are on the
where are the signs?
The other side. The signs are on the other side though, unless
someone else
maybe. I think it's server things, like they disappear once it's destroyed. So yeah, I think the signs were there, but we just can't see them. But anyway, that is a quite eventful end to that Aston Martin's race.
So 11 minutes remaining in the Thermaltake OLR Sprint Series, live from Bathurst. You are watching Split Yellow. Of course, do stick around afterwards for Split Green, and the one and only Tim Goeb will be joining me in the box. Looking forward to that. But it is Benny Vintner leading the way from Luke Johnson, Jamie Convoy there. We've got ourselves another replay. This is a McLaren, and I reckon I know what's going to happen here. Oh, that's a big hit.
Oh yeah, that is a solid whack. into Forest Elbow.
That didn't pull up at all.
No, probably just locked the fronts and just went straight on. So very unfortunate for the McLaren. As we cut to Ryan Anderson, who's doing a good job so far to keep his car out of the wall, unlike a few other people we've seen so far. Obviously no shade there, it's very difficult conditions. As Marshy as well has pulled in the top 10, pulled a almost 8-second gap to Ryan Anderson, so I think Marshy's harnessing his inner SVG here around Bathurst to make his way through the field.
This has been a very impressive drive here from David Marsh. So to be in the 10 any time in a sprint race is a huge achievement, and in these conditions, really driving maturely. This has been a fantastic drive. He'll be chuffed with this. I know Marshy pretty well. He'll be happy as Larry. That's a nod there to Larry Perkins. Hope you are well, LP. So it is. Benny Vittner still leading the way. We've got under 10 minutes remaining now, and we might jump on board with Benny Vittner here, and let's watch a master at work.
Definitely 100% the Aston, a very solid car in the wet. Obviously serving Ben Vintner well, just so stable. Although there is a little bit of sliding, it's a very planted sort of car that you can just coax around the track, especially in this proper wet condition where a lot of cars, you're kind of just wringing the neck of it, trying to get it around corners or get it to accelerate. But the Aston, looks pretty good for him right now. There is some traffic and a backwards car. I think that is Charitos, possibly, in that BMW facing the wrong way in a very awkward spot. Obviously,
I was about to say he's another driver that's had a day.
Definitely, yeah. I don't want to say it's like not normal to see that, but I feel like in the race we've had quite a few times where we'll just be watching someone and there's just a car backwards just sitting there like, hello, just facing the wrong way. It's kind of become a normality from this weather.
It is, and it's very few places in world motorsport is the worst place to spin than at the top of the mountain, because pretty much you're stuck. It's very rare that you can flick spin it around and not touch a wall. So it's very tricky. Yeah, once you spin up there, it's pretty much you're done. So, and it compounds. That's the other thing with this track as well. These little scrapes across the top, they compound all the time. And next minute you look down, you got 10 seconds damage.
Yeah, definitely. And then you get to the chase and you don't have the downforce that you expected and you fly off the track. So, or into any of the higher speed sections, I should say, on the track, especially over the mountain. As we jump on board with Ryan King looking backwards towards Brian Kong with that 15-second penalty. Kong still got pretty good pace though, so he might be able to do something to that McLaren once they head down the straight. Kong just trying to set up a decent exit here. They look to be fairly even on the run off the corner. Obviously the Ferrari will be assisted with the tow as well. The Ferrari quite a strong car once it gets in the slipstream, although with all the damage that Kong has, that might hamper him. As we head into the chase now, he's going to go around the corner in the slipstream. It's going to stay planted, which I'm pretty surprised by. Is he going to go for the move into the chase? He is.
Of course he is.
Out, breaks himself a little bit, but King just stays out his way. I think he knows that Kong has that 15-second penalty, so it's not worth fighting too hard.
That's becoming known as the Brian Kong special, that one. Seen that quite a few times. Weather update. We've got rain lightning in 30 minutes. So that means absolutely sweet bugger all to these drivers. As we're watching these two just sliding around now. Oh, again, there's that compound I was talking about. Holds on. Oh, that was a huge accident.
What a save for Pascal Armstrong there. Just tipping that right rear wheel again onto that painted white line and just doing a big drift through Reed Park. As we get the replay of it, here we go on the controller. The controller does have some assists that will auto counter steer for you just to help controller players in general, but it doesn't do that much again as we cut to Pascal Armstrong having a massive sideways moment. So I think if you're Pascal Armstrong now, you just need to lock in, make sure you don't make too many more mistakes and just consolidate this position, because I think with all that damage, Raup is probably out of the question in terms of overtaking as we get another replay. Just that. Oh, yeah, that's definitely not helped Pascal there. It just gives that wall a big, nice shoulder charge into the Forest elbow.
He must have a thumb the size of Arnie's forearms. Pascal Armstrong, he'd be left and right in that joystick like you wouldn't believe. As we got here with Dylan McDowell, who's got a bit of Chris Taylor right behind him. So we've got ourselves a proper battle now. So Dylan McDowell's had a very quiet race, and all of a sudden he's got himself in a fight with a wild Chris Taylor, who is looking for a move because that NSX is looking very speedy. Is he going to head up Mountain Straight now, down towards Griffiths Bend? Is he going to try to go on the outside? Absolutely no way of doing that, so he's going to have to tuck him behind. And now they'll head up towards the cutting. It'll be one line all the way till they get to the elbow, and then they'll resume their battle down Conrad. Ooh,
yeah, definitely.
McDowell's struggling there with understeer. Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of cars at this point will starting to be struggle on those wets. Wets can last for quite a long time, but if you're sliding or aggressive on them, they don't really seem to take it lightly. So Chris Taylor just, I think, biding his time as, we are under the map for me. Did
Bathurst
the server just, I think the server's just crashed.
Oh no.
Everyone is stationary. The timer is ticking down, but yeah, I think the server has just gone kaput.
Looks like the rain has got into the electrics. And
I have also, I don't mean to spoil things, but I'm also preparing for my split green race in the server, and I've also lost connection to my server as well. So possible full server outage for everything here, unfortunately.
Oh dear. So we do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. We, of course, are sim racers, so we are, as always, at the mercy of servers and things like that. But, yeah, correct, Rilla. Race has been red flagged. There we go. So they've pulled a Formula 1.
I was just going to say, they're taking a leaf out of the FIA's book here. So I'm guessing we're going to finish the standings is what they are, considering we only have 3 minutes left in the race, which is what, two and a bit laps, something like that. So yeah, looks like a server issue.
It does. So might as well do a quick recap. So we are on screen there at the moment. So it looks like we'll be Benny Ventnor that will take the win. Great drive from Benny. Didn't look really troubled all race. Looked quite strong. Lukey Johnson there in second. JC in third. Vediger in fourth, McDowell in fifth, Christy Taylor in sixth, Rapul there in seventh, Pascal Armstrong in eighth, Benji Piper there in ninth, and ladies and gentlemen, David Marsh in the top 10. Get around him. He'll be stoked with that. And then just a quick have a look there as well. Paul Cranich, our top AM driver, and that was Byrne that just finished there behind. So that's, yeah, wow. There we go. That's I've done quite a few years of commentary now, and that's the first time I've ever seen that happen in an OLR, or for me.
Yeah, I do remember actually Paul Ricard a few seasons ago, we all got disconnected. But that was the last time that happened, and that was a good, 6 to 7 months ago. So, yeah, not very common as we flick over to the sprint practice server here. This is not an actual race, this is just a practice server. As I can hear the rain coming down pretty hard at my house, so hopefully my internet stays fairly stable too. But yeah, that is an unfortunate end to our racing tonight, I think. Unless something big comes up, we'll keep checking the chats and letting everyone know what's happening. But I think that is unfortunately the end of Split Yellow tonight.
Looks that way, so bit of unfortunate. Race control are checking, and of course the hamsters will be hard at work, so it is a good chance to give a bit of a shout out to, of course, our fantastic sponsor, Thermaltake. And if you are in the market for one of those fans to keep you cool during the hot summer months that are coming up while you are gaming, go check out Thermaltake. They've got all the gear, all the great prices. And if you are, of course, in OOR and you cheeky patron, get yourself a cheeky 5% discount, which is always nice. So go check out thermaltake.com and tell them Sean Ghost Muller sent you. And of course, a big shout out does go to our fantastic stewarding team. They are amazing. They do a tireless job and they do the work that really no one wants to do. And of course, the one and only Benjamin Hignan, who is bringing you all these fantastic pictures that you see at the moment. And of course, with the new fancy box setup that we have in here, we've got 3 screens. Oh, I feel like a professional.
Definitely feel like yeah, sure.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate your patience. We are going to head to a break now, but stick around. We will be back for Split Green, hopefully very soon.
Green light, give it all you can.
The Thermaltake Genesis Ultimate V5 is your ticket to playing the hottest PC games right now. This gaming PC has been handcrafted for pure performance, giving players the power of a GeForce RTX 5060 graphics card, 16GB of DDR4 RAM, and an AMD Ryzen 5600 CPU. All powered by Thermaltake's very own Smart BX3 650-watt power supply. A ready-to-go gamer's dream built inside our popular Versa H16 case. Go the extra mile and plan your upgrades on the Thermaltake LCGS website. Your first victory is just a button press away.
Welcome back, everyone, to Split Green of the Thermaltake OOR Sprint Series live from the mountain. I am Sean Muller, and joining me is the one and only Tim Gobe. Tim, Gobe, how are you, good sir?
I'm good. I'm fantastic, actually. I just got back from work just in time for this, but I'm excited. I've seen what happened to Split Yellow and the unfortunate end to that race, but sometimes things are out of our control, but let's hope it's a good one for Green.
Yeah, definitely keen for this one. I reckon this one, we had a relatively quiet yellow, but I reckon this one's going to spice up a little bit, and this will be hotter than a pancake on a frying pan. I lost my train of thought there. I was going to go with something else, but I thought, oh, no, hang on, I'll back myself off.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. It looks like the track conditions currently are flooded, but this is not stopping this man right there setting insanely quick times. We've seen him do 14s in these flooded conditions. Track conditions should improve by towards the end of this quali session. Now, this is one thing about wet weather. The start of these quali sessions is always the worst, but as the session goes on, more cars get on the track, it starts to form a little dry line, which you can definitely take some advantage of. So definitely excited. I think the fastest laps are gonna come at the very end of this quali session.
As we do jump on board with Naeem at the moment, and a big welcome back to Naeem. Very quick operator in the GTR, echoes of 1992 and 2015 here as he heads up towards Griffiths Bend, brakes just at that service road, tips the nose in, then he's going to let it run a little wide there. Now you can use that ripple strip in the dry, or in the wet as well. Oh, okay, yep, no worries. Now into the cutting, really important, close to the wall, then break it out, and then tuck it back in, tuck the nose in, watch the bump on the exit. Short shift now, then you're looking for that tree because that is your turning point right there. Then you float across the top and now into Silman Park, best part of the racetrack, down to the dirty grate. Clip the grate and then tuck the nose in across Reed Park. Then you're going to go over a little rise and then slightly lift off into McPhillamy. Again, let the car run as wide as you dare. Now you're going to pick your breaker mark and break it nice and straight down the S's. Then hit the brake again, modulate the brake the whole way down. You're dancing now. Now we're dancing. And they're just lovely through the dipper there from Naeem. This is a beautiful lap so far. Now into the lap killer. This is the elbow. Get the nose right in and then drive it out as close to that wall as you dare. Dick Johnson style though, don't do that, what he did in 83. Now we're heading down the 1.1 kilometre Conrod Straight. Fast straight in Australian Motorsport. They will reach a terminal velocity of around 260, 270 in these GT3 cars. Let's see what the GTR does as it heads through the kink. 272, 273, then he's hard on the middle pedal. Clips the apex past the Ridges Hotel. Nice turning, very smooth driving style here from Naeem. This is great to watch. Under Liquid Molly Bridge, just got Murray's to go. Another corner, though, that can really bugger up a lap time, especially on the exit. And we are going to get our first Hollywood number, and it is a 2:14.3. That is a stonking lap.
That is absolutely flying, especially for his first flyer. So he's only going to get better from here on. So I'm excited to see what Naeem's going to get to do. But not far behind is Glory Vavy. Only 5 tests behind, so he's definitely able to challenge that GTR. But can I just mention the precision in his steering? You know, these wet conditions, especially what we have now, where we have a flooded track. How he's barely steering the car and pretty much not drifting, power sliding across some of these corners, and somehow keeping all this momentum to get that 214 in these conditions. Absolutely insane stuff, as we're now looking at Aiden Squires with a livery I've not seen yet from him. I think he just put that on the car now, and it's a beautiful Monster Energy livery on that Bentley, really fitting for that car. Kind of reminds me of the Bentleys we had. I think it was like 18, 19. I think was it the M Sport ones? Or
That's right.
yeah, beautiful cars. It reminds me of those. New car for Aiden. I think he's normally more of a Ford guy like I am, but he's decided, you know what, this season I'm gonna try something new. I'll take the big boat around and see what I can do.
Definitely, it's a car that's very popular. As we're looking here at Babby at the moment, and he's actually on a bit of a Hollywood lap here, so he's half a second up on his best lap, which would nearly be close enough to put him on provisional pole. As he heads down towards the elbow now, can he get the big Mustang hooked up? This is where it does struggle a little bit, really does struggle to put down that huge amount of horsepower that it has. And then if you don't get it right, you're just going to bleed time all down Conrad, as we are. He's keeping around that 0.4 though. It depends now how late does he want to go into the chase. How deep does he go? Heads to the kink now. He uses the whole road. On the slide. Nice and straight. Clip just misses the apex, literally by half a tyre's width. It's at that 0.4. As Naeem just goes a 14.1. Well, yeah, blow that out the water, because that is now 0.7 to the good. As Babby now, he'll finish he'll still be in second position, but still 0.362 off Naeem's time there.
He's lost a lot of time in the third sector. I reckon he's got much more in the tank there, as we're looking at Paz currently provisional P4, and he's still got a lot of time. Gets a bit slidey in the chase, but nothing too dramatic. But as we can see here, his delta is absolutely bleeding, constantly bleeding. The chase is one of those parts of the tracks. If you do end up getting a bit of a slide, it just bleeds your delta all the way to Murray's corner. But he does find a bit on the exit of the final corner, and will be with a 15.9 currently. But he does know that he has a lot more time after what happened at the chase, as we're back with the name, and he's absolutely still flying. Currently over 3/10 up. He looks like he did touch the wall there. Loses a bit of time, but nothing too dramatic. He's still 3.5 up as he goes to McPhillamy now. This is a very scary corner in the wet, but he's keeping it on all fours, and in fact he's over almost half a second up now as he goes down through Skyline and into the exit. He hits the wall, and unfortunately for Name, that lap was not to be, but he does have time to go back to the garage. And luckily, since this is a simulator, he can just take his car back out and go back out again for more qualifying sessions. But we're now looking at Barker, also finding a lot of time, currently on a 2:15.6, and he's actually almost a second up. So he must have not had the greatest skyline there, as he does find a second on the exit of the Dipper. Now, what can he do in the S's before Forest Elbow? He does lose a bit of time, but gains a lot on the entry to Forest Elbow. Let's see if he can keep that on the exit. And well, I want to say, unfortunately, still a second up. He loses a bit on the exit of Forest Elbow, but he does have a bit of traffic ahead of him, as we're now looking at J Mags, also 1 second up. So that shows that the track conditions are absolutely improving here. Loses a bit in the chase, but he does gain it all back on exit. And in fact, is 1.1 seconds up. This should be good enough for a 14 for J Mags here, as long as he gets this corner right. And he does, in fact, he finds a bit more time here on exit as well, which puts him 1.2 up, and that will be good enough for 14.9 from J Mags. But closely following behind is Jay Barker, now taking Murray's corners himself. Don't want to touch that car on the inside, don't want to touch that car on the outside either in the wet, and that will be good enough for 14.7, putting him on provisional P3 for Barker. But there's still more cars behind him. Now this is Paz. We saw last time Paz in the chase lost all his time. He manages to find it back on this lap. In fact, he's found even more time now, as he's 5/10 up, 7, 8. Does go a bit wide there. And again, he just lost it all in Murray's corner, like you mentioned at the very start of qualifying. It's the infamous corner for ruining lap times.
It definitely is. That's but Alex will fire up. It's nice to see Alex back. Of course, a former Enduro teammate of mine, drove with him many moons ago. Started my OR career, so it is. And of course, he's in the Ferrari. Absolutely loves that thing. As we're looking here at Johnny Hislop, aka Truvatelli, and he's in 5th position. We haven't seen him in the qualifying so far. Just doing a classic John Hislop job here, trucking along nicely. The Porsche feels so good at this part of the track in these conditions. You feel like a driving god as he plunges it down the hill now. It's a good lap. It's only... Oh, no, that's Porsche things. That's cooked that lap, and I reckon that will be his qualifying session run and done, as we are looking at Blake Griffiths now, currently in 7th position. Nice lap. Nice position so far. Top Pro-Am, so really solid drive.
Yeah, she seems to be very comfortable in these conditions in the big Merc, and she does get a bit sideways there, but nothing too dramatic. She's got control of the car, and manages to avoid the wall. Looks like a bit of a mistake there, but still, she's still in provisional P7, so that's a fantastic effort from a Pro-Am driver, and could see a good result here. Again, I've noticed in Split Yellow, consistency is probably the biggest part in these wet races, especially on the mountain. If you can keep it consistent, there's a chance you'll gain positions just from drivers in front of you doing mistakes left and right, and mistakes on Bathurst are a lot more painful than they are in other tracks, because you don't really have a runoff area in the mountain. It's just a wall to your left, a wall to your right. If you hit the wall, it's pretty much race over. Well, if you hit it hard enough, that is. As she now goes down the Conrad straight, what does the big Merc have in its fuel tank or in the engine as she now crosses over the hill? And she does have a bit of traffic ahead, but I don't think they're close enough to cause her any trouble as they go through the kink now, and heavy on the brakes. Into the chase they go, and are currently 4/10. They lose a bit of time on the end. That Ferrari does go off, but manages to stay out the way for Blake here. And this looks like it's going to be a very, very good lap for a Pro-Am driver. Very, very late on the brakes there for the final corners. On the very edge of the curb here, and that will put her at a 2:15.4. That did not improve their position, but it just gave that extra safety margin from Squires in the back, as we have Name once again on track. Again, half a second up. Name is looking into the 13s here for this lap, and hopefully this time they keep it together as they exit the chase. Into Murray's corner they go. Currently 4/10 up. Let's see what they can find here. And in fact, they are 5/10 up, but they lose it all on exit. But that would be good enough for a 2:13.8, putting them pretty comfortably on pole, as Babby behind does not really have an answer as they go through Murray's corner themselves. And unfortunately for Babby, they'll have to settle for P2, which is still a valiant effort, especially being in 2:14s in these conditions. That BMW got very, very deep there, but they managed to keep it on track, and they are still up on their delta, currently sitting on 217.7 as they go through the S's, closely followed behind by the McLaren of Brock Godfrey. They find a long forest elbow, but they end up hitting the wall, and unfortunately for that BMW, it is qualifying over, as we're now looking at Sicanius, currently sitting P16, but they are half a tenth up on this lap as they go over through up on the hill from Conrad into the kink they go. Let's see what they have here. This is the kink in the dry is not too scary, but in the wet it's very, very easy to lose traction there, as we've seen a Honda completely lose it there in Split Yellow. But Sicanius managing to keep it on track, in fact finding a lot of time here on the exit of the chase. They only have one more corner to go, and that's Murray's corner, and if they can get this one just right, and it seems like they did, that's a very good lap from Sicanius, and unfortunately they're still in P17, but that is still a fantastic lap from Sicanius, and that's qualifying over.
It certainly is qualifying over. That was a great session, really enjoyed that. It's been thoroughly enjoyable, and we've still got a race to go. Of course, you are watching Split Green of the Thermaltake Sprint Series. Of course, a big thank you does go to Thermaltake. If you are on the market for a PC case, go check out Thermaltake. And we've got something special. That's right, it's the stunt show. just for our man in the box, my mate, the one and only Gobby. And look at those beautiful 1996 Jeep Cherokees. Don't they look amazing?
No
No.
comment.
Now, this is the whole reason I've made my special appearance. Thank you, Muller. Thank you, Gobby. What you're looking at is a Jeep Cherokee WJ with a 4.7-liter V8 piloted by our one and only broadcaster, Benjamin Hignett. Today, he'll be jumping 3 Jeeps wide. He makes it, he sticks it.
Oh, that is
Bouncy.
fantastic.
This is some BeamNG action right here. I just can't get away from this car. It just seems to follow me everywhere. And as we can see, our broadcaster here putting all the time and effort to make my day completely miserable. I absolutely love you, Benjamin Hignett, for this. But we do have a race ahead of us.
No. We need to break this down a bit more. Look, it's pretty simple here, Gobby. That's your future. You're looking there at your future, and I think that you should embrace it. Oh, look at this. Look at the skill here from Hignett. Oh, wow. Bit of two-wheel action. Was he going to flip it over? You can see he's trying to flip it over here. Of course, that big V8 engine from Jeep, one of the most reliable engines in the world. What a stunt show. That was fantastic.
Thank you, Ben. Now, I make my disappearance. Everybody please enjoy Split Green Broadcast.
Thank you to the one and only John Gormley. And I'm sure Gobby is sitting there thinking of his revenge as we speak, as we do circle the grid now and look at these fantastic liveries. Looking at the Barker Ferrari. And, of course, that is the Mags Williams-inspired Bentley. There's Ciuffatelli in that beautiful Simrigs Porsche. There's Damiano here in these classic livery for the Porsche guys. And there's Griffiths. There's Squires in that Monster Energy Bentley. That's a nice one. That one, it really does suit the Bentley. But big shout out.
Talk about Griffiths getting P7 in this quali session. Absolutely flying out there. That is no small feat in an OOR race.
Definitely not. No. I've always said top 10. Anytime you get a top 10 in a sprint race, you've had a good night out. So
that also shows the rain being the great equalizer out there. It's not so much about the car you drive, although it helps to drive something like a Porsche or an Aston Martin, but they can only help you so much. It's you gotta be so precise even in those cars to do well in the wet. So it does, just because you're driving a Porsche or an Aston doesn't mean it's easy mode for you. You still gotta put in the work, and Blake has shown us there that they've got great competences in the rain. As we have the BMW of 16 is going very slow. Yeah, unsure. That looked like perhaps a hardware failure from the BMW. Let's hope they can get that sorted for the start of the race.
Sorry to interrupt. Breaking news. I believe next season's sprint season has been cancelled, and we're going with a 1996 Jeep Cherokee XJ Cup. So that'll be exciting. Looking forward to that. I'm sure Gobby's going to be all over that.
Absolutely not. The cars go for Summit Park. Can I mention, this is the only... Well, I want to call it a street track, which it is. You see, the speed limit is 60. These drivers obviously aren't going to be following that. There's no speed limits enforced there. But it is our only technically street track in the ACC. And in fact, it's my favorite track in the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, see, interesting you say that. You could kind of class the Nürburgring as a street track, considering it is a road. But if you really want to, yes, this is pretty much our only street track in ACC. And yes, you are. It's one of the greatest racetracks in the world. It's in the top 5, no doubt about it. It's not my favourite, definitely not, but it's an awesome track and probably the most satisfying track to hot lap. When you nail a lap around here, you do feel like a bit of a driving god.
I think you and me have got the exact same favorite track. I'm going to guess it's the Nordschleife for you.
Favourite track in terms of motorsport, yes, but favourite track in ACC, no, that's the one and only Brands Hatch.
I'm an absolute
what a shot. Love that
sucker
shot.
for the Nordschleife. It's a fantastic track to lap on. Maybe not the greatest for racing, I'm gonna be honest. It's a bit hard to race door to door, but just to lap around, especially in an endurance race, it's absolutely fantastic as the drivers now go side by side for the upcoming race start.
So here we go. So this is Split Green. You are, of course, watching the Thermaltake Sprint Series brought to you by LOR. And it is going to be Naeem leading them from pole. Babby, Barker, Mags, Hislop, Thurkalini, Griffiths, Squires, Underwood and Rad are your 10. And then Wafri and Paz just outside. Nice job, Alex Paz, too. 12th position. Good qualifying. But here we go. It's going to be very interesting. We did have a bit of a quiet split yellow. Normally, split green does give us a bit more action. And it's going to be interesting watching the GTR and the Mustang up Mountain Straight as split green is about to go racing, and they all head off now down towards Hal's Corner. And it looks like Naeem's got a very nice start. He'll break it nice and straight, tucks the nose in, and he is off and away. Drive away, no more to pay. Everyone gets through nice and cleanly. A bit of a smaller field, but doesn't mean the quality is lacking as Barker now is looking very aggressive. He's got the move done on Babby. So Babby must have ran wide there, and it's really compromised his speed up Mountain Straight as they are fanning out too wide in the background there. But it is Naeem leading the way. Barker, Babby. Oh, Hislop's just out wide there. That's out in the grey. You don't want to be out there on these conditions. Now the drivers head up towards the cutting for the first time. Really important to judge your grip levels here early. Know what you're working with. Heading up now towards under the tree. They'll fly through here. One of the greatest shots in motorsport. They plunge down towards the grate. Very clean opening lap so far from Split Green. Both splits have been absolutely impeccable, actually, the opening lap. So big well done to the drivers. Keeping their wits about them. Damiano here. Currently in 5th position, looking very solid. Another typical solid Damiano drive early on, but a very clean opening lap so far there, Gobby.
That was very, very clean, and there was no contact, there was no incidents. Hell's Corner was very, very clean. I was worried about turn 2, Quarry, because usually if Hell's Corner is clean, there's a good chance that there's going to be chaos at turn 2, but these drivers, apart from unfortunately Hislop, which has lost multiple positions from going wide like that, but even then they managed to avoid the wall, get back on track. It's a long race of well, I want to see a long race. It's a 1 hour race. Still anything could happen. Just head down, keep on driving, and hopefully you'll be able to get your spots back.
Yeah, well, it's very much consistency. You'll find here in these conditions, if you drive at 85% and just keep it off the wall and stop those accumulation damage seconds, you're going to have yourself a very, very good day. As Damiano is currently in 5th position. Nice start there as Naeem. Wow, 2.5 seconds to the good already. I don't want to go the early crow, but gee, he is looking very strong.
Naeem is absolutely flying, and the benefit from Naeem as well is that they don't have to deal with the amount of spray that some of these other drivers are going to have to deal with. Barker now probably doesn't have to deal with it as much as he is 2.5 back, but all these drivers behind Barker are going to be dealing with insane amounts of spray on it, and this is probably one of the scarier tracks when you're dealing with spray, as it's so tight that when you're on the edge close to these walls, it becomes very, very scary, and having to do a bit of guesswork on where to brake, not being able to see the car ahead of you, is not ideal. But these drivers have been practicing hard. Hopefully they've been doing their wet practice, which so far for green it looks like they have. It should be all good.
It should be, but we've seen before, especially in the previous race, it's this part of the race is quiet. It's that sort of 15-minute mark that things just kick off. Drivers, I think, tend to relax and maybe just miss a braking mark or miss a turning point, and next thing you know, the snowball effect happens, as Baby, though, is really working on the back of Barker here, starting to put the pressure on the Milwaukee Ferrari. And you can see Barker just starting to defend, took a much narrower line into the elbow, but got a lovely exit. That Ferrari was a rocket out of there. And Babby is not going to have the advantage that the Mustang normally has at Bathurst, so he's actually going to have to get this done with a bit of driving skill.
Yeah, especially at Bathurst. That car used to be ridiculously strong on Conrad. In fact, I think it's the only track where you could actually use 6th gear in a slipstream. I don't even think on the Nordschleifer 6th gear was viable, but on Conrad, since it's a downhill, you get just so much momentum in that Mustang, and if you're behind any car, you're basically guaranteed a pass before the kink. It was absolutely ridiculous in the past over here, but unfortunately for these Mustang drivers, they now have to deal with, I think, is a 19% or 20% restrictor, so that top speed advantage is basically gone. You can still make a pass happen. It does not kill the car, but it's not as insanely quick as it used to be, as we did have an incident here at the chase, as there was 2 yellow flags. It looked like the 277 of Sicanius and the number 24.
Yeah, I believe it's the 24 of the art car BMW.
As we have a replay here. Oh,
yeah, lost the rear. Very easy to do. Keeps it off the wall and nearly spun it around it. Oh, that was only a perfect execution. As we are back live here, looking at Squires at the moment, working on the back of Damiano as they head up through the cutting. Another replay here. This is Sicanius in his turquoise BMW. That has not gone well at all. That is a big hit, and that's going to be all the way across the sand trap. And actually, quick one. If they want to make sim racing games realistic, you shouldn't be able to drive out of the sand trap. Like,
you should be stuck in there, yeah?
Yeah, I know. Just thought of that. I don't know why. Just a random thought came to the brain.
Well, realism is nice, but sometimes when something is too realistic to that point, I don't think people are going to enjoy it as much. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh, I get that, but that sounds like a skill issue, so...
I know one game that's very realistic, because in ACC, you can RTG, and then you can get back on track. In a game like Le Mans Ultimate, I know if you break your car, and you can't drive back to the pits, and you have to return to garage, it's game over. Which I find that's a bit extreme, in my opinion, especially if you're doing a long endurance race and 80% of the way in, the car is totaled, you can't drive it back to pit, so you have to RTG. I'm sure that would be heartbreaking for some drivers. It'd be heartbreaking for me. So you need a bit of a balance when it comes to things like that, in my opinion.
No, it's a good point you raised, definitely. I just think, it's an interesting discussion point. We got it's an Audi. We don't even have to commentate this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called Standard Audi Things, and that really kicked off. Oh, no. Oh. No. Oh, dear. Oh, that's an Audi where it's not supposed to be parked.
Managed to keep the BMW has managed to keep it out the Audi and the wall. Thankfully, they were very close to the wall there, but they probably saw the yellow flags. Were expecting a car to be there. I don't think they were expecting the car to be in the middle of the track. As we're back on with some racing action, John Hislop currently P7. As we have a replay, I think that's Babby. That's
Barker.
Glory, Bab. And
so ahead of Barker
it,
the wall. Yeah.
Barker hitting the wall. So.
Oh, that's
not
really
what you
open.
want to do.
No, it's not. Oh, Babby! Did you see that? He slid that into McPhillamy. That was wild.
That is very, very scary. Gory Babby here, absolutely pushing. You can see Barker's doing his best, keeping the big Mustang behind, but that's causing him to do some small mistakes left and right, and a pretty big one at the cutting. But so far that Ferrari still manages to stay ahead, but for how long as they go down Conrad now, and they're hoping that they don't have any front end damage on that Ferrari.
Well, that as well, and I'm just going to keep an eye on the background as well, because if these two do start squabbling, That's going to allow Mags and Thircolini just to sail up to the back of him. So they don't want to get too cute here, because this could close up very quickly, especially in these conditions, if these two start getting the fisticuffs out. So Barker, we did see him have that accident there up at the cutting. How much damage has it done to that Ferrari? Is he compromised? Baby, now he can sense an opportunity here. He knows if he can make this stick, there is a second position up for taking. I think first is long gone. Naeem is putting on a bit of a clinic here. He just dropped a 2:14.6 race lap as well. That is just straight up taking the piss.
I agree, but that also shows that, again, the rain being the great equalizer. Don't get me wrong, Naeem is quick. He's quick anyways, but I don't think the gap would have been this big if the track was dry. If it was dry, I think these two would be a little bit closer, but Naeem just has that extra edge in the wet, perhaps doing a bit more wet practice, or just straight up being better with his left and right foot, and that's just giving him the gap that he has now. 7 seconds ahead, and it's not even 10 minutes into the race. It's about to be 10 minutes into the race, but he's already 7 seconds ahead, so that's absolutely insane from the Nissan driver. I heard the Nissan is alright in the wet, but then I heard from other sources that it's not good in the wet. I don't know who to listen to, but these two really squabbling. Babby hits the wall there. That, again, you don't want to be doing that too much in the race. Although side damage is not too bad, as these two are absolutely sending it here on Skyline. They're battling very, very hard. This is exactly what we want to see, as long as it doesn't end in disaster.
Barker was nearly in the wall then. He's in the wall that time though.
Where's Babby?
Babby gets through, but Barker, that was a big hit, and that is a broken Ferrari, and that's going to allow Mags to sweep this third position. I don't even think Barker's going to get this back to the pits. He's taken out sides and bollards everywhere. He's coming back onto the track. Be careful. This is very risky behaviour in these conditions. Got to be so careful here. All these drivers will be panicking. Hopefully everyone gets through cleanly. Wow, this race has just turned on its head.
I should not have been commenting. We see Barker going completely straight back there and into the sand they go. And I think that car is, I don't want to say totaled, but I think it's totaled.
Yep, I believe the word is cooked.
That was a major mistake into the Dipper, and not the Dipper, what am I talking about? Into Forest Elbow. But yeah, that's not an uncommon place to do things like that. Even in the dry, it's so easy to lose traction and lock up your brakes there. And if you do end up locking up your brakes, especially in the wet, then it's basically game over. See what happens there. Yeah, they lost traction. They lost their rear completely and just hard into the wall there. Wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of steering damage there, but that Ferrari not looking too good.
That is a broken Ferrari, and we will not be seeing that again, I feel. That is run and done there for Barker. Unfortunate, but that is the mountain. It bites, and when it bites very hard. And what that has done is allowed Damiano here to pop himself up in the fourth position. So very nice drive. He is definitely a driver to watch when it comes to that 85% strategy. He will not drive above his limit. He will drive very much within himself. And as I said, if you do that, this is what happens. As we are on board here with Hislop in the Bloodsport Porsche. Get your words out, idiot. As he comes through the dipper, and he's got Squires there in front of him. Nice little battle, this one. Griffiths up to 7th, Radin 8th, Underwood 9th, Mateen just now up into the 10. And, of course, our Pro-Am Championship leader at the moment. So, good haul of points there for Mateen in the 10. And Paz just sitting outside there in 11th position.
These drivers driving fantastically. Keeping it clean, keeping it safe, as we're looking at Rob Underwood, and he's not done any practice for this, and he's currently sitting in P9. So that's a solid effort from the BMW driver, and they're now hunting down the orange McLaren of J-Rad. And so far looking like they're making a bit of ground, but perhaps not pushing too hard. Like you said, they're keeping it clean, driving at around 85%. You don't have to push too hard in these conditions, especially in the mountain.
Wow, that's
passing opportunities on the mountain itself are pretty much non-existent. Well, they do exist, but in the wet, you gotta have a death wish to pass on the mountain, and all you have to do is be able to defend down Conrad and over here up into turn 2, and if you manage to do that, you pretty much secure your position unless you do a massive mistake, obviously.
Very much so, as we are looking at this battle for 4th position at the moment, and it is Squires in a bit of a Porsche sandwich moment. Hislop just starting to work onto the back of him, see if he can get past, and of course Squires trying to get past Thircolini here. Good battle, this one. Really respectful battle as well. There's no big dives, there's no, half fake moves. They're just driving within themselves, but as fast as they can drive as well, as they come through the most famous shot at Bathurst. Love that shot. You just having a look at their line. You can see Damiano, he's just driving it beautifully at the moment. The car's not moving around, it's not sliding, it's very sort of neutral body English on the car. Just driving beautifully at the moment. Back on board with Johnny Hislop. Okay, Squires just got the back end out and again out of the dipper. And that is just allowed Truffatelli here to have a bit of a snip. Sniff, idiot. Get me words mixed up today. God, I'm having a shocker. But good battle so far. That's just allowed Thircolini to skip away a little bit, that little mistake there from Squires. So just keep an eye on that. And I was just watching as well. I just wanted to see Babby's pace. Now he has been unleashed there from Barker, and doesn't look like it is going to be enough though. Naeem's just too quick. Real masterclass this evening, but this battle I think is going to crack on for the whole race. Definitely as Naeem pops in a 14.2 race lap. Nice.
At 14.2, I think he was I think that's even quicker than Babby's qualifying time. So he's got a full tank as well. It's not just a 14.2. Yeah, he's done better in quali. No, it is a 14.2 on what is most likely some kind of race setup, or perhaps they use a race setup for qualifying. But even then, the fuel tank is still full. The car is still heavy, and he still manages to put in these laps. Absolutely insane stuff from Naeem. This battle is, I want to say, pretty neutral at the moment. These three drivers just driving their own race, really. They're not being overly aggressive, like you said earlier. Just driving, seeing, waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the driver ahead to perhaps make a mistake for them to capitalize on. But so far, they're not looking like they're trying to push the other driver and trying to get around. They just seem like they just want to finish this race.
I've just noticed those Squires, the last sort of lap and a half, just making a few errors as we've got ourselves a replay here. This is the McLaren that's going into the... Oh, ouch. Yeah, that's a big one. That never ends well. As soon as you clip that inside wall at the cut... Oh, Squires again. That's a huge slide. Oh, he's held on to that. That's a great bit of car control, but that's going to try and allow Hislop to go around the outside. Hislop's got nowhere to go. And he pulled that up. I don't know. Maybe he should have straight lined that. Interesting. How he pulled that up, I don't know. But Squires is starting to get real out of shape here. The last 2 laps now, just been really sliding the rear. Here we go again. I just want to see what happened here with Hislop. So, I can see what he's... Yeah, I can understand. It was a bit too much grass there on that outside to take the straight line, but press on.
I think what happened there, you saw Squires slide, he saw the opportunity to perhaps go for a move, but then as he realized Squires is getting back on track, and he's given Hislop the space. It's not like he squeezed Hislop. I think Jonathan here decided, you know what, it's better to just let him go. I don't want to go side by side after Skyline, and I don't blame him. Completely understandable. I think that was the correct decision from the Porsche driver, but now he saw that mistake from Squires, so he'll start to be hungry for that position. Perhaps it's the pressure he's been putting on the big Bentley, and Squires just doing all these mistakes, and maybe he's waiting for another opportunity like this to pop up.
definitely could be that, but it definitely wouldn't be doing his wet tyres any good, that's for sure. As we now jump on board with Robbie Underwood, currently in 11th position, doing a nice job, and he's got that abomination behind him of one Godfrey. We haven't seen that all stream, so if Mr. Hignett could keep that the way it is, please, thank you, that'd be great.
And talk about Robbie Underwood, he was P9 earlier.
Averturise, everyone. Averturise. Oh, here we go. This is actually a battle here. Because Godfrey's starting to look a little racy. He wants to work on the back of Underwood as ahead in the Griffiths Bend. Not a really great passing opportunity. There's not a lot of room. Will he have it? He's just going to have to tuck in behind now. And just see if he can nail... Oh, we've got a yellow flag up there across the top of the mountain. I didn't see that. I think that's the 29 it might be. Oh, look at this. This is really kicking off now.
They're basically...
Here we go again.
Bumper
Rad
to
versus
bumper.
Mateen.
Oh, this cannot... And so... This one... Oh, it's a three-way battle now. And you can see...
Did Blake have a moment there? Did she have
Not sure.
She's had a moment. Because she was definitely ahead and she slowed right up. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Don't know what's going on there. But look at this. Mateen, Rad, they are absolutely throwing down at each other here. Mateen now, he's going to try the undercut move. But Rad gets just slides the rear out of Forest Elbow. Now Mateen's going to try and go in the outside. Now he pulls to the inside. Rad's made his move. Oh, he comes back across. Oh, race control. I don't think we'll like that very much. They're going to go side by side down to the kick now. And is that Paz in the background of Ferrari as well? This is turning into an absolute rip-snorter. Oh, Mateen. Oh, super deep on the brakes. Oh, there's an Audi off in the sand. That's normal behaviour. But Rad does hold on. What a fight this is.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a very, very entertaining battle for us and the viewers here. This is some fantastic stuff we're seeing. Rad being very aggressive on defense. In fact, he's done 2 moves. Now, if race control's feeling a bit grumpy, they might slap him with a little 5-second penalty. But if they're feeling generous, we're seeing a bit of driving, these drivers, and it wasn't like he completely destroyed the McLaren of Mateen, they might let it slide, but if Rad keeps doing this, you may get slapped with a little invoice for that. But this is what we want to see. We want to see these drivers race, and this is definitely an entertaining battle, as we do have a replay here of Rad, and they collect the wall there.
Oh, so Rad slid into the wall. Now, what's happened here with Blake? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's what's happened. Oh, that's a big slide. Oh, that's not going to do the front cross member and front struts any good at all. And you can just see it is skating and shaking. That is not going to be nice to drive. That will require a trip to the pit lane, I dare say. I'm just having a look at our leaderboard here. So, Damiano's dropped down to 6 as well. So what's happened there? So we've had a couple of real big moments. It's sort of all kicked off. I did say 15, 20 minutes in. It normally happens in these wet races. Just people switch off. Oh, it's Hislop just kisses the wall there on the exit as well.
I've once been told by a wise or perhaps unwise person saying, if you're not hitting that wall, you're not going fast enough in quali. But unfortunately, this is not quali. This is a race. You don't want to be doing that too much, Jonathan Hislop. But so far, they're looking like they've got this under control. They perhaps give the wall a little kiss. It's fine. A bit of side damage does not hurt the car. As we have a replay of Damiano, and it's at the kink. It's at the end of Conrad. That's not where you want to see an incident. And that's the Audi completely spinning. Oh, they had to slow down for the Audi. And Squires. I see what's happened now. So that may be an invoice for the Bentley driver.
I think it might be.
But yeah, Damiano was...
I was just going to say, I think what's happened is Damiano slowed up because he saw the Audi doing Audi things. And Squires hasn't seen that, and then Squires is broke at his normal braking point. And unfortunately, 2 doesn't go on the 1.
Yeah, and it's... especially with yellow flags, because they would have seen the yellow flag, they would have known that would have known about the yellow flag, then yeah, that is a bit naughty here. So, luckily for Damiano, he didn't get spun around. He didn't get completely taken out. But I reckon there's going to be his number called, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Squires getting a little bit of an invoice for that one.
How Squires didn't collect that Audi, I don't know either. There was nothing in that. But we are back live now with Squires and Hislop throwing down for 4th position. So currently leading the way is Naeem. He is 10 seconds to the good from Babby. Then Jacob Maggs there in 3rd. Then this battle you're watching on screen at the moment, Squires, Hislop and Thurkalini just off the back. There he is coming into shot now. So we've got ourselves another replay. This is the Castrol Mustang. Is this a classic Murray's? Yep, classic Murray's. Missed your braking point, go too quick in the corner, clobber the wall. We've all done it, some of us many times in one race. Back live, good battle this one. This is going to go on, I think, for the whole race. Still got 35 minutes to go. You are watching, of course, the Thermaltake Sprint Series. This is Split Green, and have you checked out the Thermaltake website there, Gobby?
I love the cases Thermaltake makes, so I'm always looking at it for my next PC case, actually. But if you've guys seen the advertising we had before the stream, they have a nice. If you don't know what you're doing about computers, if you don't want to bother looking, I want this part and this part, or I'm not sure if this part and this part goes together. Luckily for you, Thermaltake, as we have it's a very, very intense battle going on in the background. A bit of door banging here, but it looks like Hislop does manage to get ahead of Squires at the Hell's Corner. Obviously, it all happens when we're talking about something else. We're not talking about the race, and all of a sudden, that's when the overtake gets done. But let's see if Squires can retaliate from that move, but so far it's looking like Hislop has made it stick as they go into the mountains. But back into Thermaltake, yeah, I always check out especially their PC cases. But like I said, if you don't know what you're doing about computer builds, they do sell pre-built PCs for you, and if you check out our OR Discord, you can get a 10% discount with Thermaltake.
Oh wow!
5%. No, it might be 5. It might be 5. I might be thinking about something else when it comes to 10. You know, we have so many offers for our lovely viewers and OR members here. I get mixed up a lot, so I apologize for the fake info. No, it is 10%. It is indeed 10% off at Thermaltake using our promo code Octane, so you can get a pre-built PC and get 10% off the build.
Love it. Get around it. And as always, a massive thank you does go to Thermaltake for their continued support of OR and the Sprint Series, as Johnny Hislop is now looking pretty comfortable in that 4th position. I think he's seen off the fight from Squires there, and hopefully he can get his head down and secure what is a very, very good race finishing position. 32 minutes to go. It is 12:30 in the afternoon, 23 ambient, 24 on track. We've got ourselves a replay here. That is an NSX, another thing we don't have to commentate. Pretty normal NSX things. Oh, the Lambo. Oh, there's a boop.
Not much that Lambo could have done there. But that was very odd. They were going very slow, and then all of a sudden, the rear end decided, nah, I don't want to give you any more... I mean, no, but that's just odd. He's going so slow, taking it safe, and the rear end just kicks out on you. I've never driven it, and if that's what the car gives you, I don't want to drive it.
Before next week's race, what I want you to do, go for a few laps in the NSX, and then next week's race, you can report back to me.
Perhaps I will.
Look, it's back. We are back. We better get serious again. We drifted off track there. So it is Naeem leading the way 11 seconds to the good from Babby, Mags, Hislop, Squires A5, and then Stercolini, Rad, Mateen, Paz, Underwood A10 at the moment with Godfrey and Wafree just sitting outside there. couple of notable shout-outs there as well. Want to give a shout-out there to Godfrey as well as Oliver as well. I thought Oliver's had a pretty uneventful race there. Saeem's drove really well as well. Reinhardt is beautiful drive up in the 16th position as our top AM. Alex Paz is not an AM. I'm giving you the red hot tip. So really nice drive there from Reinhardt. Gamble there in the 24. He's a legend. Best racing number in OOR, of course. So a couple of really nice drives. So we are looking at Brog Godfrey at the moment in the Abomination, because we haven't got Ben Deek on the grid this seat, or not in my splits that I've called, so I need a new Abomination. And Brog Godfrey has been the recipient of that in, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what it's a picture of, but it looks, yes.
Yes is a valid answer for that. Look, at every angle you look at that car, it just looks at you. It's disturbing. I'm not a fan of it. I will never be a fan of it, as we're now on board with Alex Paz as they go down into the chase, and they're really closing up on Mateen now. I'm pretty sure that's Mateen ahead of him, and just ahead of Mateen is J-Rad. So J-Rad managing to build the gap again from Mateen, even after these mistakes and these touches with the wall. But now Mateen has other issues behind him, as Paz does go very deep there, but manages to keep it on track, really finding the limit. They really want that position from Mateen. They're not happy with P9. They want to be as high as possible, as Ben Oliver does get a 10-second penalty for the unsafe reach on lap 12.
I just gave him the big shout out too. Bit of a big news, breaking news here. We've got the one and only Malik in the chat. I hope you are well, good sir. I hope everything's going well, mate, and you're fighting fit, and keep up the good fight, my friend. Big love from all of us here at OOR and in the box as well. We miss you, mate. And you've tuned into a pretty interesting race at the moment, so we've got a bit going on.
I'm sure our lovely Malik is enjoying this race. There's been a lot of action, perhaps a bit more action than Split Yellow. Bit of some heartbreaks here and there, but what else do you expect from a flooded Bathurst? Of course, the track conditions now are not flooded, but we did start off with a flooded quali, so I'm going to call it a flooded race. It was supposed to be a random weather race, but so far it's looking like it's going to be wet for all the splits. At the next 30 minutes, it's still wet, so this race is going to end in the rain, as we do see a Ferrari off the track here.
Is that the Barker Ferrari?
I'm not sure. Yeah, there's quite a few of them in this split, so I'm really unsure. As we're back with Hislop currently still holding off to P4. In fact, very slightly building a gap to the number 9 of Aiden Squires, as a name again does another 14.2. And as our lovely broadcaster is furiously looking through the replays to get us what happened there, and this is a very interesting image. Oh no, you guys will see this very soon, but it's chaos. I can just say it is chaos as we now get the replay, and that's on board of the Ferrari of Barker indeed, as we see a Mustang into the wall collecting the Mercedes of Blake Griffiths, and Barker just trying their best to avoid this and collects the wall themselves. So Barker not having the best race, having been in 2 wrecks now, unfortunately, but they're trying to get as many points as possible, but Bathurst is not making it easy for them, as we now have a replay from the Mustang.
Yeah, let's break this down. Oh, so the Mustang went slow, and then it looks like Blake's got... That's carnage. I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, it looks like the Mustang was slow, and then Griffiths had nowhere to go. So she's come out sort of, and then Barker sort of was, unfortunately, a bit of an innocent bystander there as well. So, yeah, a bit to unbrake there. Unpack. Oh, unbrake works. We'll go with unbrake.
The person that organizes these our commentators, unfortunately, she got collected as well in that. Nothing they could have done, honestly. They're just going side by side. Mustang spun out and they were a passenger at that point. They weren't expecting Mustang to come back across, but they managed to, although they did a 360, they managed to bring it back on track. But I'm sure they don't need the extra damage, as now we have the Bentley of Squires
that
on the
was a
back of
hit.
Hislop. I think Hislop might have collected the wall there, but they end up getting collected by the Bentley as well, and that's not what you want in a wet race, and that is a rear damage. If you lose that just makes that rear end more slippery, and in the wet, that's exactly not what you want, a more slippery rear end as they go around some blue flag traffic with a very, very damaged Audi. I think that's the Audi that's been in a couple incidents. I do not envy driving that car at Bathurst in the wet, but they managed to get out the way safely for these two lead lap cars. But he's wondering what happened to Hislop.
Blue flag traffic.
So it's blue flag traffic, and
Not just
Hislop,
that.
nothing wrong.
No, that I think he clipped the wall on the inside, and that's sort of checked him up. And then Squires, of course, has come through at racing speed, which has then checked him up. Or I like to call it just normal Bathurst things, really. That's a classic Bathurst accident.
I'm not sure if they collected the wall as I'm looking back for a stream. Nah, I don't
Looked
think
like
they did. I think it's the Mustang ahead that completely, I want to say brake checked. I think they were trying to let them through. Unfortunately, it's a very narrow part of track, and it just forced Hislop to check up, and unfortunately Squires wasn't expecting it and ended up collecting the rear of that Porsche. So that's nothing that, well, I want to see nothing they could have done. Perhaps they could have done something, but Hislop, you can see Hislop being good with good situational awareness. Get the words out, Tim. Having good situational awareness, and unfortunately Squires not reacting to it in time and collecting the rear of that Porsche. But it didn't look like massive contact. I think he'll get away with it, as Hislop does manage to build a gap once again, as we're now looking at the Porsche of Damiano, currently sitting in P6, well ahead of J-Rad. So now they're just driving their own race, I think, Damiano. And in fact, I think they might be very slowly catching the Bentley of Squires.
Oh, this will be interesting if Damiano catches up to Squires here. Thing with sim racing drivers, like real racing drivers, they have very long memories when it comes to certain things. And, of course, all sim racers deal really well with letting things go as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as we are on board here with Mateen at the moment. And he's got Paz right behind him. So nice drive here from Paz. Good return to the series, as he's going to have a bit of a look up the inside of the elbow. Oh, if you don't mind, and Mateen runs a little bit wide as they all tuck in now and they head down Conrod Straight. That got very willing, but everyone nice and clean, so they can fight on as they head down towards the kink. Flat out, 260s, 270 kilometres an hour. And then they're going to tip it in. Now, Paz backed off a little bit, which is interesting. So he thinks that he can see something up ahead that might play out. We've seen Mateen and Rad go at it a couple of times now, and they are not afraid to throw down.
That move by Paz, if he managed to make it stick and get around that McLaren, would have given me memories of, I think, was the last 20 minutes or so of the 2019 Bathurst 12 Hours, where we had... I forgot his name. The very famous Australian
Matthew Campbell. How could you forget his name?
Yes, Matthew Campbell. Thank you. As that Audi.
I thought that Audi. Yeah, I just saw that Audi. That's
sketchy. Matthew Campbell making that move down the inside of that. I think it was an Aston V12. I think it was the Aston's V12 last race at Bathurst, making that very, very opportunistic move around Forest Elbow, and it was absolute cinema, and that was almost a recreation of that. But unfortunately for Paz, he did not manage to make it stick, and we'll have to try once again in the next 22 minutes.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting, this battle. I'm actually really intrigued here to see how this plays out, because we saw Radicals 2 rounds ago. Really the most hard luck story I've seen in sim racing for quite a while. Unfortunately, on the last turn of Spa, was going to win his first race, and unfortunately just right at the end there, pressure got a little bit too much, but he's in a high pressure situation again with Mateen right there, and this is actually a fight for the top Pro-Am, so this actually means something here. So that's why they are really aggressive there. Paz is just waiting. And if you look at the background here, Robbie Underwood's starting to catch up as well. So this could be a 4-way fight. here, and I tell you what, if it gets into a 4-way fight, hold on and grab your popcorn because it will kick off. 20
You
minutes
see a
to go.
four-way fight, but right behind Underwood is the number 211 McLaren of Brock Godfrey. So in fact, it could be a 5-way fight in the last 20 minutes of this race.
That's what you want. That's why we all tune in on a Wednesday and Thursday night for some brilliant Thermaltake OLR Sprint Series racing action. We've got 20 minutes remaining. You are watching Split Green, of course, and make sure tomorrow night, if you are doing nothing, pop in, and of course we have the GT. Oh, that is something spinning in the background. I just saw that. Was that Godfrey? I believe that might have been Godfrey in the background.
That definitely was, as the 211 is currently a yellow flag, and they collected the wall very hard, unfortunately for them, as we do get a replay of what's happened there. It wasn't the exit of the chase, so he was fine. I guess a bit. Nah, it's fine here. It wasn't the exit here. Let's see what's happened. And he's hit the curb. Yep, that curb is notorious for that in the wet.
It's made that paint job look better. So we are back now with live racing action. So, of course, tomorrow night, yes, it is the GT4 and Porsche Cup race. Unfortunately, I will not be racing that due to a previous engagement. But, of course, looking forward to that. I might tune in. And, of course, then the one and only Split Red will be after that. So make sure you tune in for all the action. Split Red has been pretty exciting to watch this season. So hopefully they put on another show for us. And Bathurst will be flooded as Paz scrapes the wall there, heading into McPhillamy. Oh, that's done more damage than he's realised. Oh, that's actually... Oh, there's a McLaren off in the background.
That was very, very close. They managed to get out the way of these guys just in time, but Rad almost has had a race-ending incident there. Crossing my fingers for Split Red to be dry, thank you. As Rad still managing to hold off Mateen, and yeah, that mistake from Mateen. Very lucky to not spin there. It's very common if you end up putting these outside wheels into the grass that you end up spinning, but Mateen, knowing what to do, managed to keep it on track. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you go on the grass, as you see, not Mateen. Was it Mateen or Paz? I think it was Paz. Paz went on the grass, but managed to keep it on the track. But unfortunately for this particular McLaren, that's what I was talking about. If you end up touching the grass, that's what happens. As Paz now goes on the grass themselves, and they keep it on track, and they managed to get back on track pretty safely there.
Wow, that's the old keep the boot in it and you just go, it'll be alright, it'll be alright, it'll be alright. So
the car is good at that. It'd probably be the Ferrari, as it does have very good traction control, so the car possibly helping out Paz there.
So he's actually going to have to get his thinking cap on because Robbie Underwood's right behind him now. So this is all just sort of not falling apart for certain drivers, but the race is just starting to become a bit of a struggle. And the other thing that I think a lot of people don't understand as well as driving in the rain and in these conditions is if the concentration. That's the thing that tires you out. It's not the physical sort of exertion, it's the constant concentration and thinking and, I can't miss a braking point, I can't miss a turning point. Because you're always on the edge, especially at a place like Bathurst.
You've got to be extremely precise. You've got to focus so much on driving. And yeah, the concentration definitely tires you out, but it's also, if you're not smooth on steering, it does tend to be a bit of a workout as well. You're always counter steering as Paz meets the wall, so they're pushing very hard in the number 888 Ferrari. As we see Rat into the wall ahead, that's a very, very hard hit into the wall for J Rat there, and I think that's very terminal damage for our orange McLaren driver.
That looks like a very broken McLaren. Unfortunate. Again, it's almost becoming the classic McLaren spin, that little outside curve there at McPhillamy. As soon as you go over the edge of that, it's game over. You're not bringing it back. So I've seen a couple of McLarens have a few issues up there. As we are back with live action, we're looking at Paz here in the 888. Triple Eight Ferrari. No, I don't like the sound of that.
Why not? Triple Eight's a good number.
Yeah, but Triple Eight's also a race team here in Australia.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I did not know that.
And they're either loved or hated. So here we go.
As we have a replay of Mateen showing what happened to Raz. And, yep,
Yeah,
they
Rad,
hit.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You know that curb, how it's got that sort of rise, and then there's that part where it dips down. As soon as you get your back wheel on that dip down part,
It's pretty much game over. As we're back looking at Squires now, 3.9 seconds behind Hislop. So Hislop's definitely hit the turbo button there and will perhaps try to hunt down J-Mags if they can. Although J-Mags is 13 seconds ahead, I reckon Hislop is probably going to relax and just take it easy, finish the race. He'd be very, very glad with a P4 as we're back looking at name. Now 21.9 seconds ahead of Glory Babby. And we've seen the past couple races, Glory Babby is an absolute rocket in that Mustang. So name on a completely other level in this field. That's a absolute massive, massive gap.
I think the thing with the aim as well, it's not so much. He's just a master in these conditions. Like his skill level in these conditions is next level. It's quite frankly, it's amazing to watch. It really is. It's an art form. So I'm actually not surprised at the gap at all. I've seen Name in the rain before, and bloke's just a straight up freak in these conditions.
Quick check his Motec data.
Audi again. Oh, that Audi. I don't know who's driving that Audi, but they are having a day.
He seems to be getting lapped every other laps. I think that's Callum Lloyd in that Audi.
This Callum Lloyd. Yes, you're right.
I don't think they're having the best time. Oh, Paz going to look down the inside at the kink. That's a very, very ballsy move. Decide to back out at the very end. And we've seen what can happen in split yellow as that Audi completely straight lines it there. So yeah, I think Callum Lloyd not having the best of times there, but still driving. They still have points on the table. They are sitting currently P20, so if they do finish this race, they will still finish in the points, which will definitely help them in their championship struggles. As we're back looking at Paz. Paz really, really pressing on the turbo button now. Really wants to get past Mateen, but so far Mateen's just managed to hold on to it, not falling for the fake dive down the inside, just driving their own race here.
Very much so, driving their own race. We've seen Mateen actually a couple of races now, really impressive. So, currently leading the Pro-Am Championship, but I've got a gut feeling if he races next season, that won't be he will not be a Pro-Am. He's been consistently top 10 and really showing some good racecraft as well. So looking forward to seeing how he progresses. We've seen drivers, especially they start in Pro-Am and they move their way up to Pro so quickly. Like, where did that come from? Jeez. Must be youth. I'm putting it down to youth.
It could be. It could definitely be. Or perhaps
that's the
some
annoying
drivers.
part. We say youth, right? But then you get someone like Peach, who's as old as me and can wipe the floor with most of us. So I'm confused with the whole thing.
That's one thing I do love about sim racing. Age is not a barrier like it would be on a, let's say, FPS where you need the faster reflexes. In sim racing, it's all about skills. And again, we have another pro driver, Damiano. Can be an absolute rocket at times. In fact, they've won a couple races last season. So, yeah, no, I don't think age is an excuse, specifically in sim racing.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I was feeling I needed something to hold on to. Jeez. So here we are, but still with this battle with Paz and Mateen at the moment. We've got 12 minutes remaining in the Thermaltake OLR Sprint Series live from the mountain. And this is round 4. And you are watching Split Green at the moment. Of course, tomorrow night it will be the GT4s and Porsche Cups running around. Where are we running around? Misano. So that will be exciting to watch the bike track. And then, of course, Split Red will be following after that. Split Red, always entertaining, always puts on a show. And hopefully we get in the dry. Yeah, well, you know what I'd love for Split Red? Mixed conditions. That's what I'd love.
That's usually what we tend to get. And it's not just mixed conditions. It's mixed conditions where you have to drive on a tire where you wouldn't want to be on because it's either dry for 10 minutes or wet for 10 minutes. So you have to either stick with the slicks in the wet or sticks with the dries. And sticks with the...
Sticks?
Yeah.
Sticks or slicks? Where are we going?
Stick with the slicks in the wet, and it's usually not a very enjoyable experience.
Well, he finally got that out.
See, Igor agrees with me. No mixed, Muller.
Well,
even he's driving the Porsche, so he should be begging for these wet conditions. Those are the conditions the Porsche absolutely loves. As we're back looking at that battle between Paz and Mateen, and Paz again putting in the pressure, but Mateen still not flinching. As we do get a replay there of the Lamborghini. I think that's the Intel Lamborghini of McLeod. As they go around turn 1 and they got into the green stuff. That's not what you want, and they collect the wall.
Yep, that's very easy to do. We've seen that many a times. Definitely won't be the last time we see it. And this battle just starting to spice up a little bit. You can see Paz just starting to show the nose a little bit and just changing the direction of the car. See if you can put Mateen under a little bit of pressure. So Naeem is still our leader at the moment, 23 seconds to the good. Can pretty much park it now and put his feet up, maybe enjoy a nice coffee and maybe a donut as he drives around a cold and wet Bathurst. And Paz, that is very, very deep on the brakes. It's lucky to actually pull that up and make that apex then.
Doing some very, very good driving. Very, very late breaker, I've noticed quite a few times now. He brakes very late. Not always ideal, like here he hits the curb and fortunately for him, car stays straight, but we've seen cars into the wall because of that curb, so very, very much playing his luck there as Mateen goes a bit wide in Hell's Corner, and that could give Paz a bit of a run, but I don't think he is close enough for a move. But he just wants to get close. What he ideally wants, I reckon, is to be as close as he can, try to scare Mateen into a mistake and then go around. But the problem is with sticking close in the rain is what we're seeing right now is all that spray. You can't even see the McLaren ahead. You see a faint glint of the rain light flashing ahead, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's... You basically... Well, as the old saying goes, you're driving by braille. You really are driving by feel and the knowledge of the track. Oh, that is not... That is a little too close to the wall there from Mateen. Don't want to do that too many times. Oh, and you do not want to take too many curves like Paz did then. Oh, that's a big save. That's a huge save. I've seen that go wrong many a times, and that was a good bit of driving.
That was fantastic car control from Paz. The mistake, not so fantastic, but the fact that they've managed to take back control of the car and not spinning into the wall, especially at Bathurst where there's no runoff areas in the mountain, that is absolutely good car control. Well, not just good, fantastic car control from the Ferrari driver. Now, I don't know Paz very well. I know you do. You've driven with him before. But so far, he is showing that he's driving very, very well, as we have, again, the Ferrari of Barker not having the best of times here at Bathurst, and almost spins at the dipper, but keeps it on all wheels so far. We do have another yellow flag there at Skyline.
We do. I just saw that myself. That's the 29, I believe. That's so maybe just a small incident there. It looks like they are trucking on. So here with Mateen, currently in 7th position. Really nice drive so far. I was trying to actually think driver of the day, and it's getting tricky. There's some standout performances. I mean, Naeem, it's pretty great drive. I mean, Mags has been really consistent. He really hasn't put a foot wrong. Mateen's been really good as well. So there's been some really great performances this race. And in these conditions, it really does highlight those drivers that have put in the practice. I've always said you can tell when a driver's put in the practice. I mean, except
Another
for
one
the aliens.
for me would be John Hislop. We've not seen much of him ever since he got past Squires, but again, like you've said multiple times, if you're having a quiet race, you're having a good race. But Hislop, definitely one of those other drivers, although got into some contacts, none of his doing most of the time. Unfortunately, it's just sometimes what happens with blue flags around here. Apart from that, he's been keeping it very consistent.
Here we go.
Got
This is Alex. That is a mega save. Holy crap, that's a good save.
Save there, but yeah, that's very good actually. I thought it was another moment after that, but it doesn't seem to be. But yeah, back to John Hislop. Just very good race from them. They've managed to put a 7-second gap now to Squires, so they're really feeling this track and doing really well here, and they're in for a 4th place finish.
Take a 4th place any day of the week.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with the caliber of drivers he's going against. That's a very, very good drive. And as we're looking at Damiano now Damiano's really starting to close on that Bentley. Very so slightly, but he's only got 5.5 minutes to go to make a move onto the big Bentley of Squires. So all Squires has to do is keep it on track, keep it clean, and should be able to hold on to P5. But we have seen a couple moments from the Bentley. Now the stewards didn't have anything to say for it yet, so he might get away with his couple incidents there, and Damiano might not have anything left in the bag to get around that Bentley.
I'm not so sure about that. I've just been watching Squires driving, and he really is on the edge of a mistake. The guy just watching the Bentley, it's sliding everywhere, and Damiano has got the bit between the teeth here. Damiano is looking racy, and as I said, sim racers have long memory. Oh, that has got a lot of understeer. Oh, wow. That
very,
is
very
full
understeer,
lock.
Temp Bentley. That's what my mates would call bro steering. I don't know why it's called that, but that's what they say I do all the time, unfortunately, and I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, that Bentley, very understeery. It really has no front end grip. That's in a way that's good, and it's also bad.
It is. I mean, ideal. Oh, and again, you just see sliding it everywhere. It really is on the edge of control here. And Damiano's seeing this. This is the thing. Damiano's looking at this going, there's a chance here. There's an opportunity here if I am close enough and good enough. So it's a head down now, Conrad, with 3 minutes 30 remaining. So they'll get 2 more laps to have a crack at this and sort this out. But it is Naeem leading the way, 25 seconds to the good from Babby. Jacob Maggs there in 3rd. Johnny Hislop there in 4th. And then this battle we're looking at the moment, Squires and Damiano here. Mateen in 7th. Oh, that is Blake. I believe Blake Gurgis heading off somewhere, off to the hotel. May as well. And then Mateen, Paz, Underwood, and Godfrey are your 10 at the moment, with Wafree and Oliver just sitting outside the 10 there. And our top am is Reinhardt, who's up to 13th position. That is a great drive, really nice drive. And
yeah, we've not seen his name the whole season. I think that's the first time we've seen his name. And I know he joined the first couple races.
Oh, wow.
You don't want to see what we're seeing on the other screen right now.
Here you go. Wow. That's...
I don't think your wheels are supposed to do that. That looks like a Mercedes bottoming out there as Damiano now on the rear bumper of the Bentley of Squires. Now Squires is going to be sweating a bit. We know there's only 2 minutes of this race to go, but once again they do a mistake. They're going to try side by side there. That is very, very ballsy stuff from Damiano. Surely not. And unfortunately, they spin. That is exactly not what they wanted. And Squires ends up staying ahead of that, and Damiano ends up getting the short straw there.
That looked internety.
internet issues there, but that is a heartbreaking end. Damiano doing so well there, and unfortunately they looked for a move there, but just lose it and ended up spinning. So that's unfortunate for our Damiano here.
Yeah, it was obviously sensed the opportunity, and it's a tricky one. We'll have to. We've got a replay. Here we go. So they're heading up out of the cutting side by side. Oh, and Damien, yeah, that's out in the grey. There is absolutely zero grip out there. And that was unfortunate, but kind of inevitable. Inevitable.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to get racy. There was only 2 minutes of racing left to go. They thought they could make it stick, but unfortunately for Damiano, I ended up, I want to say, ruined their race, and that's the worst feeling when there's only 2 minutes to go and you ended up bottling it like that. But I think they've managed to hold on to their position so far. I think they're still in P6. Yes, they're still in P6, so it's not the end of the world for Damiano. And Mateen is still 8 seconds behind, so if they keep it clean, they'll hold on to their position.
Yeah, definitely. I've always said, and I'll say the bang on about it, but a top 10 finish is a great finish in a sprint series. You will take it every day of the week. But we are cycling down now. We're close to our final lap, and back with our leader. This has been an absolute masterclass from Amron Amin. Has not been headed really. Turn one was a bit interesting, but as soon as he got out in front, it literally has been drive away, no more to pay. Fastest lap, really hasn't been headed. Just a dominant performance, and he'll be pretty chuffed about this one, I reckon. It's one of those races when you have a performance like this that you put in the memory back and go, that was a good day. And this is what it's been. Simply superb drive, has been consistent in the 14s all race as well. Just hasn't put a foot wrong. Just got Murray's to go, but it is going to be Naeem that will take round 4, split green with a stonky drive. Second position will go to our championship leader, the one and only Goribabi. And he'll take this, and I tell you what, we're getting to that point now where this championship is getting close to being done. So the other drivers are going to have to find something pretty special at the next round. But Babby, with a dominant performance in second position, never really had it either. Slides it across the line. And then it will be Jacket Mags that picks up third position in the Williams Bentley. Another solid drive here from Mags. One of the nicest cars on the grid as he now heads into Murray's, and that will do his championship. The world of good as well, with a couple of drivers having a few issues. And Damiano will finish in sixth position by the looks of it after a cracking battle there with Squires that went all the way to the end, but unfortunately a slight mistake there from Damiano as Aiden will cross the line there in fifth position, and Damiano will round out in sixth. And Tim, you can do the rest.
Yeah, no, that was a very, very good race. We've seen some hard battling. I'm surprised how hard some of these drivers were really pushing each other. And as we see, the team holds off, and will settle for P7, has to be in P8. Robbie Underwood in P9, top 10 finish from Robbie Underwood without doing any practice in the West. That's a very, very solid effort from Underwood. And Brock Godfrey back up into P10 even after the incident. No, I think he's in P10 unless everyone else has disconnected. But I think he's managed to hold on to it, and if he did, that's P2 in Pro-Am.
Take P2 Pro-Am every day. Nice work there. And of course, Reinhardt is going to be our top Am. Fantastic drive to finish in third. No, that'll be 12th. That might be 12th actually, but that penalty to Oliver there. We'll keep an eye on that. If that's correct, that's a huge drive. As the drivers now doing what they normally do after a race, bit of circle work action, as they'll be...
Oh, Taz. I hope they don't count that. That would be actually heartbreaking if...
that would.
And I don't know what to say if that's actually disqualified them. I hope not. I think the stewards are in a pretty good mood. There were very little actual incidents in this race, so maybe they're in a good mood. I'll give it to him. But that's a fantastic drive from all these drivers. But Glory Babby still doing burnouts. I'm sure they won't be chuffed at being in P2 behind Name. Nave just in a class of his own. But apart from that, driver of the day for you.
Driver day for me. I'm actually going to give it to Jacob Maggs. I thought flawless race. Again, we really didn't see him on stream, and normally that's the thing when you don't see a driver on stream. He's had a good day, and been great. But we are going to recap our race results, and it was Nameen taking the win. Dominant performance from Barry, Maggs, Hislop, Squires, Turcolini, Mateen, Underwood, Godfrey and Wolfrey Year 10. Moving across to silver class now, and it was Johnny Hislop taking the win from Underwood and Oliver. In Pro-Am, it was Mateen from Godfrey and Wolfrey, and in Am class, it was Reinhardt from Lloyd and Maheswaya. I butchered that. I am so sorry, sir. But that is it. That is Wednesday night run and done for LR, and of course, big thank you guys to Thermaltake for continued support of the series. Final words, Tim.
Now that was a very, very exciting race, and stick around because tomorrow we have more racing action for you guys. We have the GT4 and the Cup cars at Misano, and we have the infamous Split Red at Bathurst once more.
That's it. Well, thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this evening's racing event. It was a great night, as always. But other than that, this is Sean signing off for now. And as always, you've been watching Thermaltake OOR Sprint Series.